Good morning. It is 9:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen on all the apps, the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the 99.7 WTN app. You can listen on the FM dial as well. You can watch the show on YouTube and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. We picked up a new viewer just yesterday in New Hampshire. Anecdotally, we are now the number one show for Gabe's mom. So welcome to the program, Gabe's mom. It's like I'm not being rude. I'm actually appreciative. Gabe sent me the screenshot. he sent me the whole thing. So anecdotally, the number one show for moms across the country. I mean, based moms, red-pilled moms. We love our moms, so thank you. That's two moms in New Hampshire we got, because it's my mom and your mom. So that's a lot of moms.
Your mom lives in New Hampshire?
Yeah.
Shoot, I didn't know that.
They do the snowbird thing. So half the time they're in the free state of Florida, and then the other half they're in Chris Sununu's world.
Yeah, you know, I met Chris Sununu once.
You've told me this story. I don't like Sununu.
It's funny because I'm not a fan, but it's like that meme where it's like rhinos in every other state. It's like, oh, we hate him. And then it's like rhinos in New Hampshire. It's like, oh, he's kind of all right.
It's just, I don't like him. We'll talk about that. I actually want to talk about another rhino governor today, Mike DeWine. We're going to talk about Mike. Mike is very upset. He's in Ohio, don't you know? And he's very upset that temporary didn't mean permanent when it comes to the Haitians. He actually went on CNN to cry about it. Even Jake Tapper was like, can we get the man some tissues? This is embarrassing. You really need to clean up your act. Don't you have a transgender affirming care bill for kids that you need to veto somewhere? He actually did that, by the way. I'm not a fan of Mike DeWine. We'll talk about that. We'll get there. Don't worry. We also got John Rose on the show today, and I'm excited. John's coming back in. He's going to sit down. Maybe you're aware, John's running for governor of Tennessee. So we'll talk to him about the current state of the race between him, Monty Fritz, and Marsha Blackburn. And listen, I respect it. I said to the guys, no softball questions. We're gonna ask some real questions. John Rose, love him, hate him, somewhere in between. John Rose has always been willing to come on the show and answer questions, and I respect that. I really do. And I don't know if you know this. One of the first congressmen to call into the show here at 99.7 when we started a little over 3 years ago, which is crazy. We don't do the big party. We don't count down the episodes like Murphy does. We have a paper horn somewhere in the back that we've been using to celebrate the third year of the show. It's about as legit as we get. It's a sick horn.
It's a great horn.
People like it.
You know what I realized yesterday?
We missed the whole bounce house thing that we had planned.
Well, yeah, that. I was excited for the clown. He promised me a balloon animal.
We were going to throw a huge party.
Yeah.
And then...
Clowns are creepy.
Yeah, fair. But
that's part of the fun.
We forgot about the party. We forgot about the big 3-year anniversary bonanza because we care about as much as the audience does.
Yeah.
So we were like, yeah, moving on.
Yeah, you brought up anniversary earlier, like yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shoot, we forgot. My anniversary starts Saturday.
Oh, that's an anniversary people care about.
I don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, the director of algorithm tickling, Mason Fleming.
Yeah, 2 years on the Chris Hand Show.
And you know what? He didn't even make it 2 years.
Didn't even make it.
He was looking, by about 9 months, he was looking for work elsewhere.
It's like, I think I could go work in this department,
I keep losing producers. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Now I can't even get a guy to stick around all week now. Gabe's in here and he's like, occasionally I'm going to want to go to a pride parade. So we're going to need somebody to fill in for me on Fridays.
That's what I'm doing next weekend.
Are you really?
Yeah, Charlotte Pride.
It's going to be awesome.
The weekend of the 14th.
So Gabe goes everywhere. He does investigative journalism and camera work in his other job.
Yes, please add context.
Yeah, it's not. He's not going it's not a spectator sport. Okay, he's going because he documents this stuff and it's just wild. So sometimes he's getting bombs thrown at him by Muslims. Other times he's getting pepper sprayed with Antifa members outside of ICE detention facilities, and then sometimes it's just a lot of dude schlong.
Yeah. That is,
factual,
honestly,
right?
I think I prefer getting bombs thrown at me than seeing old man schlong.
It's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. Do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life, they say. So, no, we love Gabe. We're excited. He's going to bring a lot of stories to the table, so that's exciting. But as I was saying, John Rose was one of the first congressmen to ever call into the show. And it was one of those moments where I was like, oh, crap. People actually listen? Whoa. They do. I guess. I think they do. Is anybody out there? So we got a lot to get to today, and we're really excited. You're welcome to join the show any way you'd like. 615-737-9986. You can text in as well. You can jump in the Unhinged chat on YouTube. We love the chat. Hail to the chat on YouTube. Is the Rumble chat still jumping? There was a week in there where Dan got us suspended from YouTube, and there was a flurry of activity on the Rumble channel. But I don't know if they've migrated back since, or if there were some people that joined over on Rumble and they were like, I kind of like it here. We're gonna stick around on the Rumble. I don't know. I don't watch my show. I'll be honest with you. I can't take it. I'm like, I hear my voice a little bit, and I'm like, moving on. And I've tried to rewatch it at home at times. My wife is like, I already listened to you once today, and now I have to listen to you in the house. Like, can we knock this off? I'm like, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. So I don't. You're supposed to. I don't know if you know that. Like, as a radio guy, they tell you, like, go back and listen to your broadcasts and see what you can do better. And I'm like, it's a long list. So it's a mountain I don't want to climb. 3 years in, we'll figure it out. Don't worry. We're just getting up to speed here. And we appreciate you joining. You can find me on all the social media platforms at Chris Hand on Air. Dr. Fauci is going to be testifying. The man who is science. He's going to be testifying tomorrow. And I don't know. Are they going to finally get him for perjury? Is that what we're going to do? I hope so. I really do. RFK Jr. was talking about Anthony Fauci, the man who is science. You know when I knew I hated Fauci? I had a feeling. I had this inkling that I really didn't like him as the pandemic was starting. It was like a toss up, right? Like, who do I dislike more? Is it the little guy with glasses or is it the lady with the neckerchief? And for a while there, the lady with the neckerchief was really just inching out the little guy with glasses. But when it was all said and done, Fauci, it was the tortoise and the hare, right? Fauci lapped Miss Burks, the neckerchief lady. So he's going to be testifying tomorrow. But when I knew I hated Fauci when I saw him sitting alone at the Washington Nationals game wearing a mask. Like, yep, he's the one. He's that guy. RFK Jr. last night on with Laura Ingraham talking about Anthony Fauci and the damage that has been caused from the pandemic and the COVID vaccine and the lies that he told.
this massive dichotomy between what he was saying privately and what he was simultaneously saying publicly. He says in his diaries on January 30th that the Wuhan lab could not possibly be the source of the virus.
Oh, we know that was all false.
Then, well, we all know it, but now his diary, he says he knew that, and yet for 2 years he told us that was.
But he was given.
But don't forget, not only did he know that based on his diaries, and also that he was just an absolute egomaniac who loved the adoration that he got from all the celebrities. I can't with this diary. Also, a grown man keeping a diary? Bruh, what are you doing? Like, swallow your feelings like a real man. You know what I mean? Like, bottle it up inside and just push it down, you dork. But anyway, we were getting banned off of all the social media platforms for saying it came from Wuhan. And this guy's like, dear diary, today I learned that it really did come from that lab I've been financing. I feel really terrible. So lame.
He was given a pardon prospectively from the last administration. We don't know if it was an auto pen pardon. It doesn't really matter for legality purposes. But Americans want to know, a lot of them, is there going to be any accountability for trillions of dollars
That's
lost,
the question.
Children's education destroyed, and public health reputation, public health industry reputation shattered?
Yeah, and millions of people injured. You know, he lied about masks, he lied about social distancing, he lied about the transmission, he lied about natural immunity, he lied about the capacity, as you just said, of the vaccine to prevent infection. He got vaccinated a very, very public press conference in January of 2020, and then 5 months later, he had, and this is the first time that we knew this from the diary, he had a pulmonary infarction, which is one of the adverse events that NIH, CDC, and FDA said are expected from the vaccine. He never told anybody. He got treated for it privately by the best doctors in America. At the same time, he was telling everybody that that was not an adverse event.
Is there any?
What a slime. So he got vaccine injured from the COVID vaccine, and then he said, you can't go to work without it? What an absolute slime ball. One of the most evil men in America. Maybe the most evil man in America ever. And we all knew that the vaccine was bovine scatology. You knew it. You remember when the nurse in Chattanooga took the vaccine on TV and then she like instantly passed out? Is she alive, by the way? Does anybody know? They say she's good. They say don't worry about it. She's fine. She's totally fine. There's a lot of chatter online about the COVID vaccine lately. And this is the stuff that used to get us kicked off YouTube. I think we're good now. I think we're allowed to. We don't have to say schmack-scene, you know? We don't have to go the whole unalive or grape route. But the COVID vaccine, there's been a lot of chatter online that like RFK is failing. Donald Trump is failing. We all know Trump loved Operation Warp Speed. If you're going to ding him on anything from his first term, I think that you could ding him on that. But there's been some conversation about money still being given to these companies for the COVID vaccine. There's been some recent contracts, and I think it's important to dispel that rumor before we go down that road on Fauci anymore. So in early June 2026, okay, so what, like a month and some change, 2 months ago, the CDC awarded Pfizer 2 IDIQ contracts. That's indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity, with a potential ceiling of $1.24 billion. Okay? That was awarded. It would be $735.7 million for pediatric COVID-19 vaccines. Pfft, awesome. And it would be $505.3 million for adult COVID-19 vaccines. Okay? These cover the remainder of fiscal year 2026 and fiscal year 2027. But there's a key point that a lot of people are missing online, that these are framework agreements, not actual purchase agreements, okay? So the purchases haven't been made. The money hasn't been spent. They set up a system so the government can order those doses if needed. But RFK has stated clearly that HHS and CDC have not purchased COVID vaccines for the upcoming respiratory season. and have made no decisions on future purchases. So the actual spending only happens if specific task orders are placed, which they have not been placed yet. So before you read those, because a lot of people will post that without context. And I to be honest with you, I don't like a framework agreement in general. I think all of those vaccines should be balled up and thrown away in a trash heap where they belong. But no money has actually been spent. No vaccines have actually been ordered. So, listen, you're still well within your right to ding them if you don't like it. I'm not saying don't. But I'm just saying let's have the proper context before we hang them out to dry. On the way, we'll bring you some more on Dr. Fauci via RFK Jr. last night on Laura Ingraham. We'll talk about what we can expect from the hearing tomorrow. RFK Jr., he says that Fauci can be prosecuted for perjury despite the pardon that was issued. So we'll dive into all that and more on the way. It's 9:22. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friend Dr. Kevin Mitchell over at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. I am absolutely fired up for the new tech that they have here. And if you're dealing with pain in your everyday life, you should be fired up as well. Dr. Mitchell built something absolutely insane. It's called Medical Bay 1. It's like climbing into a healing spaceship. You're going to get a full body laser, red light, near infrared, lighting up your body, stimulating your stem cells, and photon healing that wakes up your cells the way God intended, all while you're getting massaged. And it regenerates your tissue in real time. It feels futuristic. And the best part is it absolutely works. These guys also lead the game in non-surgical spinal decompression. You're going to get real relief at the Wellness Institute without a doctor pushing painful injections, without a doctor pushing surgery, and without someone pushing opioids. These are the real way to treat your pain once and for all. You can get the Epic Spinal Special, $33 off every visit right now. Head over to painisbad.com. That's painisbad.com, or call 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009. A pain-free life is a call or click away. Painisbad.com.
Hey, this is Pastor Al, and join us on Super Talk 99.7, Sunday evenings from 7 to 8. We're going to look at the news from a biblical perspective.
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
Up ahead, the first of two services for South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham is currently underway. We'll take a look. That's coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. My favorite text of the day came in. You ready for this? You're acting like you weren't vaccinated. 9104. Maybe because I wasn't. Maybe that's what. Maybe I'm acting like I wasn't vaccinated because I wasn't vaccinated. Weird. I'll take it a step further. Not only was I not vaccinated, I'm at like the tippy top of the pyramid, bro. Because I never even took a PCR test. Not for me. And I almost fought a couple pediatricians when they tried to make my kids take a PCR test.
There you go.
So there was that. Oh my gosh, you want to see angry Chris? Like really angry Chris? During the height of the pandemic, Kennedy was in kindergarten. And she came down with strep throat. And like, I'm a dad. And I don't need the stupid test to know it's strep throat, but you need to get the stupid test to get the amoxicillin to fix the strep throat. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I've seen this movie before. So I go in, right? And we go into the pediatrician's office just for the strep throat. This woman bursted in the door like she was freaking George Clooney on ER. She's like, we need to get a PCR test in here, stat. And my daughter, who I had calmed down the whole ride over, young Kennedy, like instantly freaked out. And I looked at the doctor and I said, can I talk to you in the hallway for a second? And she was very shocked. And so we walked out of the hallway. I was like, what are you doing? I was like, you're scaring little kids. Why would you burst in the door and just like instantly go that route? She's like, we need to do it. There's a pandemic. No, we're not. We're here for a strep throat test. So then she said to me, if you don't get the PCR test, you and your family need to quarantine for 14 days. And I said, you in what authority, ma'am? I said, let me tell you how this relationship works. I'm the customer. You're to provide a service. Now, if you can't provide that service, just let me know, and we'll leave, and we'll go somewhere else where that service can be provided, because we're only here.
I love it.
We're only here for a strep throat test.
Yes.
And long story short, she had strep throat. We got the strep throat test. We got the amoxicillin. She was back on her feet in like 2 days.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So no PCR tests, no vaccines. Everybody had to do their own risk-reward analysis, okay? And I'm not even knocking you if you got the vaccine, but when somebody uses a ding against me, I get a little bit upset because we fought a lot against this kind of stuff in my household, so it's a little bit touchy. But if you had to get it or you wanted to get it, that's your choice. That's totally cool. I didn't want any of that stuff. And I'm sorry, last time I checked, this was America, so we didn't have to get that stuff. Also, I'll go a step further. I 100% have organic babies, by the way. So,
organic babies, as in,
we're not doing any vaccines.
Good for you, Chris. I love it.
Like, what do you mean? Oh, your kid needs a hepatitis B vaccine. Oh, really? Are they going to be having unprotected sex and playing around in dirty needles? Because I was unaware. I was unaware that was going to happen. So, I pushed back on a lot of that stuff.
Good for you.
I'm pretty red-pilled. We'll talk more about Fauci on the other side. It's 9:32. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, and President Trump is set to deliver remarks this afternoon at a service for the late Senator Lindsey Graham. He tells Fox News that he'll miss Graham's friendship.
We started a little bit rough, but then it got closer and closer. It really ended up being a great friendship, and it's very hard. He's like he really became like a member of the family in a sense, and he was just somebody that was very special.
Yeah, right now, lawmakers are gathered in the Capitol Rotunda with Vice President J.D. Vance paying tribute at this moment. Let's listen in.
Very worst could be a venue for character assassination, but because he loved people, he saw that the Senate at its very best could be a deliberative body geared towards persuading people.
Now, this is the first of two services that are scheduled for Lindsey Graham today. Temporary protected status for more than 300,000 Haitians ended yesterday after a Supreme Court decision that had allowed the Trump administration to end the program. ABC's Armando Garcia.
DHS has so far been unapologetic in its pursuit of deporting hundreds of thousands of these TPS holders. A spokesperson for DHS told ABC News it's, quote, closing time and encouraged them to self-deport.
Now, as of yesterday, these migrants are no longer legally able to hold a job. People living in Hartsville, Trousdale County being told not to use the tap water for things like making baby formula, drinking, cooking, or brushing your teeth. Even giving it to your pets is not recommended. The city's water and sewer district says it'll analyze the water samples and they will notify customers when it is okay to use the water again. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock store. For the last couple of weeks, you've been hearing myself, Dan Mandis, Matt Murphy, telling you all about the big O-Site August events that are on the way. And we were telling you that the O-Site VIP experience on Friday, August 7th was going to sell out. It was super limited. It was destined to sell out. You should have listened because that event is officially a sellout. But that doesn't mean you're going to miss out on all the fun. There are some great opportunities to get hands-on with the latest in O-Site optics. What you got to do is make plans to attend the free O-Site Day event on August 8th at the one, the only Glock store. This free event is going to have hands-on range time, great O-Site giveaways, exclusive in-store discounts, free O-Site swag, bunch of food trucks, and much, much more. Now, the fun starts on August 8th at 9 a.m. and goes until 6 p.m., so make sure you save the date, August 8th, at the one, the only Glock store. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, and always open online, glockstore.com. 39 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We got John Rose joining the show at 11 o'clock today. It's going to be a good interview. We're going to talk about everything from flock cameras to pack money and everything in between. So stick around with us for that. Looking forward to the interview. John is... I think he's cool, man. Like, I really do. Like, I don't have a problem with John Rose at all. And he is not afraid to answer tough questions. So we're going to bring him tough questions. And I think that's what the audience wants. So that's what we're going to do. 11 o'clock, be here. Also, a programming note, on August 6th, we all get to find out together who is victorious in the Republican gubernatorial primary. Which goober makes it out alive? Will it be Monty Fritz? Will it be Marsha Blackburn? Will it be John Rose? We're going to do that at Hop Springs in Murfreesboro. And we want you to join us. It's going to be free. It's going to be free. And we're going to have a lot of fun. Matt Murphy's going to be down there doing a show live starting at 3 o'clock. Then myself, Mandis, Benson, Ken Weaver, Gabe behind the scenes. New producer Gabe said he's coming. We're all going to be rolling deep. And we're gonna hang out with you as we watch the results pour in. We're really excited. Hop Springs is one of our favorite locations to do these events, especially for me, because I don't have to drive as far. So that's why I love it. I actually do love Hop Springs. We went to a Hop Springs event. There was a taco festival there, and they had backyard wrestling at Hop Springs. And I'll never forget it because it was on like it was like on like gravel, right? The ring was set up on gravel, and there was a women's wrestling match, and like she must have been getting paid like $35. Like I can't imagine that she got paid a lot of money. But this woman got thrown outside of the ring and onto the gravel. And I just remember thinking, like, no, that money's not worth it. Why are you doing this? So I love Hop Springs, fond memories. And we'll make some more on August 6th at our primary party. Well, why are you laughing? I do have fond memories.
No, I was just laughing because of the comment about the lady. And
well, that's what I'm saying. We make a lot of memories at Hop Springs.
Yes, no, 100%.
So remember, I'll never lose that memory.
Well, listen, I've already made memories, and I haven't even been.
It's going to be awesome. We're going to have a lot of fun. 997WTN.com if you want more information on that. Are they RSVPing? Are we doing an RSVP?
I mean, my RSVP would be just telling you.
Yeah, well, because we did the commercial thing, right? It's not like a commercial per se. It's like a promo. It's like an info. It's an infomercial. I said behind the scenes that we should have a jingle like Mark Pody, and they said we've hit our jingle quota. And I was like, I didn't know we had a quota for that stuff. And apparently they have a quota for fun around here.
But isn't it good when you go over quotas?
That's what I was under the impression. But they said no jingles. So, but they put in the script thing. This is what they give us. RSVP at 997WTN.com. But I was like, I thought it was a free event. And they said, we want a head count. And then I was like, okay. They're like, and I'm questioning it, as I tend to. Especially things that don't really need to be questioned. I find myself questioning harder. And I'm like, but why, if it's a free event and Hop Springs has tons of room, why do we need to have an RSVP? And they said it's polite to RSVP.
Well, Chris, you don't understand. The Chris Hand Show is just so big that even though there's a lot of space, they wouldn't be able to fit every single one of your incredible listeners into this room. So they need to RSVP.
See, this is why we hired Gabe. It's like 100%. Like, Mason would never do something like that. You know what I mean? Like, Mason has been here. He's like, I've been here 2 years. He's never
What
said,
is this slander?
He's never said anything nice like that.
That is not true.
There's just like every day that Gabe has been here, like I find more reasons why Gabe should have been here all along.
This just shows that Chris didn't ever have secret hate against me. It's always been public.
It's always been vocal.
Should have known. I thought it was jokes. I thought it was sarcasm.
The director of algorithm tickling, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to go tickle the algorithm.
Go tickle the algo. Do something useful. Oh, by the way, Another Hot Springs memory we have. Same event, right? After the lady got thrown out of the wrestling ring on the gravel, Brooks was 6 at the time, and he won the taco eating contest. He did. He competed against grown men. Dude, these tacos were like ridiculously spicy. And Brooks is just a madman. And he like just hammered him down anyway.
Listen, I'm taking him on this year then.
At 6 years old. So we're gonna make some memories.
Brooks, coming for you.
I'll send him a text. Mason never challenged my kids the way Gabe does. All he did was tell them that they were great the way they are. You know what I mean? He never pushed their limits.
Challenge a kid to an eating contest. I am the bad guy, but I do it in my personal time, and I'm still the bad guy.
All right. Here, ready for a radio pivot? Let's talk about the real bad guy, Anthony Fauci. Okay, gratuitous lightning.
Sorry, I thought it would be funny.
That was way early.
It felt like the right moment, though.
Okay, all right. We'll allow it. Fauci hearing tomorrow. Rand Paul is going to go scorched earth. I'm really ready for this. RFK Jr. was on with Laura Ingraham last night talking about Dr. Anthony Fauci. He wrote, you guys know that RFK, Bobby, we call him Bobby around here, friend of the show. He did a whole book on Anthony Fauci, the real Anthony Fauci. He's not a fan of him, in case you're keeping score at home. And one of the things that he highlighted last night in his interview with Laura Ingraham was Fauci's giddy narcissism.
I mean, the worst part is that giddy narcissism that you see throughout the diary is juxtaposed against really bad public health decisions. So his focus was on self-promotion, clearly, and nobody can read these diaries and say this is a political response. His focus was on promoting himself, on getting on TV, and not doing public health.
Didn't he get some award? He's working at Georgetown, I believe, or got some position at Georgetown. What do you say to Georgetown University tonight?
Well, I say read the diaries. Read, and then, you ask.
So Bobby says just read the diaries. So we did some research. The diaries it's the little giddy narcissist. That's like a hell of a children's book, right? The little giddy narcissist, and it's little Anthony Fauci with his stupid glasses. The giddy narcissist. Listen to the giddy narcissist diary. This is from the Fauci diary. This is while CNN had the ticker on the screen counting the deaths. The deaths were going up. Remember the ticker? The ticker during COVID? It's like, how do you know that somebody literally died 10 seconds ago? They're like, we're guesstimating. It's everybody's dying. Everybody's dying. It's the deadliest. This is from the Giddy Narcissist Diary while the COVID deaths were climbing, while the ticker was on the screen on CNN. Ready for this? This is a grown man writing in a diary. Big front page article appeared about me in the Washington Post. Very flattering. The situation with my national and international fame is explosive and really unimaginable. It's not hyperbole to say that today I am the most famous person and talked about person in the country and one of the most recognizable persons in the world. Countless profiles on me in multiple media. I cannot even read all the things that are written about me since I am so busy. Seriously. POTUS seems to be enamored of me, even though I'm taking the spotlight away from him. The giddy little narcissist, Anthony Fauci, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so busy, I can't read all these articles. But I have time to be a grown man and write in my diary. I better lock it up. It'd be a shame if anyone read this. I gotta get my little metal lock that's shaped like a heart, and I gotta lock it up for safekeeping. Turn away, everyone. I have to hide my diary. Dweeb. Absolute dweeb. Here's another diary entry. March 22, 2020. Okay. The press is going wild with me. Front page in Washington Post yesterday, and op-ed by Maureen Dowd in New York Times today about me and my relationship with the POTUS. Profile by Peter Nicholas on me in the Atlantic. Oh, my goodness gracious. Everybody loves Fauci. It's like you've heard of Beatlemania. It was Fauci mania. Everybody wanted a piece of Anthony. He also noted that he was getting invited to be on Dancing with the Stars. He said, no thanks. I'm a little busy solving the world's health problems. A little busy to learn a two-step. He complained that the swag that he was getting sent was getting really ridiculous. Jeez, I don't like this one bit. He was getting the St. Fauci prayer candles and the bottle openers and magnets. Magnets, how do they work? Fauci wrote about a great call with Barbara Streisand. She asked if it was okay to get the mRNA vaccine. I told her yes. Even though, mind you, Fauci got vaccine injured. Don't worry, Barbara. It's fine. It's totally good. You'll be fine. I was totally good. The giddy little narcissist. The little troll that should have been banished to under a bridge. He then taught her how to use an Amazon Alexa. Oh my gosh, I'd rather watch paint dry than entertain a conversation between Fauci and Barbara Streisand on how to work an Amazon Alexa. It's really easy, Barbara. All you got to do is say Alexa. That's it. It's crazy. He demonstrated it to her. Let me show you. Are you available for a FaceTime? Barbara, can we FaceTime? Later, the same day, he accidentally butt dialed her. She said she had been planning to call him anyway. Talk about the difference between Moderna and Pfizer shots. Do you think he accidentally butt dialed her? Or do you think he wanted to show somebody how famous he was, that he could pretend to butt dial Barbara Streisand? Watch this. She'll answer. 2 rings. Talked about Julia Roberts being hosted on an Instagram Live. He talked about Tyra Banks in his diary, a grown man. The grown man is commenting on in his own diary that he was going through the Instagram comments and that there was somebody in the Tyra Banks comments. Tyra. One person said that Tyra was sexy, but that I was even more sexy than she was. Tony, bruh, you got to chill, dog. You got to chill. I hope he goes to jail. Like COVID stuff aside, I hope he goes to jail just for the fact that he was reading the comments and he wrote in his diary that someone thought he was more sexy than Tyra Banks. I don't know what we would charge him with, but I feel like he should go to prison for that and that alone. There is still a shot that he goes to prison. It's slim. He got a Biden pardon. He got the auto pen pardon. But RFK Jr. said yesterday on the Laura Ingraham show that perjury is absolutely still on the table and that tomorrow, as he testifies in front of Rand Paul's committee, if he lies, they're going to hold his feet to the fire.
He's going to testify in front of Rand Paul's committee this week. He has immunity against all of the things that he did prior to President Biden signing, or the electronic pen signing his pardon, but he could perjure himself now. So there are many things that he said that we know are lies, and Rand Paul presumably is going to ask him about those things. And if he lies again, then he could be subject to perjury prosecution.
Is anybody else going to be watching this thing with like their fingers and toes crossed saying, please perjure yourself, please perjure yourself, please just me? Maybe it's just me. 9:53. It's Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at United Structural Systems, USS. I'll be honest with you. Foundation issues are one of those things that as homeowners, we don't want to deal with. Like we'll see a crack or maybe a door's not shutting right. the driveway starts to sink, and we'll think, we'll get to it later. But you know what later actually means? Let me translate it for you. Later means more expensive. This is why you need to call USS today, and this is why you can trust United Structural Systems. They've been doing this work in Tennessee since 1994, and what you can appreciate is their approach. No scare tactics, no overselling. They're not sending a sales guy. They're sending an expert. And they'll take the time to inspect your home and explain exactly what's going on and tell you the truth. I know it's a revolutionary concept. If you don't need repairs, they'll tell you you don't need repairs. And if you do, you'll understand exactly why and what the process is before the work gets started. They handle everything from foundation repair to crawl space work to concrete leveling. And they do it with systems designed to last. Call them today. They have great financing options available. That way you can get peace of mind and fix it immediately. Don't let foundation problems get worse while you wait. Visit USSTN.com or call 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855. USSTN.com.
Washington saying goodbye to longtime South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham at this moment in the rotunda of the Capitol. We'll have details coming up here at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. It's 9:59 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Gary in Robertson County has some thoughts on Anthony Fauci. What's up, Gary? How are you?
Hey, Chris. How you doing, man?
Good. What do you got?
Oh, I was just curious. Like, I've watched those dog and pony shows like Six and a Half with Fauci today. I know you've watched plenty of them, too. But the bottom line is nobody goes to jail. Nobody goes to prison. I truly think that they just get together with one another behind closed doors and say, hey, man, I'm going to get my pound of flesh. I'm going to make sure my constituents are happy seeing me drill you, and then it's all over. We're just going to go our separate ways. Nobody goes to prison. Money gets turned over in hands. Everything works out like they want to, and nobody goes to prison.
I hope you're wrong. It wouldn't surprise me if you're right, Gary. And you know what I mean? Like, and I think this is like one of the disappointing things about American politics is like there's so many people that deserve to be in silver bracelets, and we've known it for so long. And it's blackpilling to a certain extent.
Yeah, you would think that they know that we figured it out. I mean, we're not stupid. We figured it out. At least start sending some people to prison.
Yeah.
They're not going to send them all, but how about just start sending some of them to make us happy?
Give me some scalps. I want my scalps,
That's right.
Gary. I want my scalps.
That's exactly right.
Hey, I appreciate
all right, man, I appreciate your show. Have a good day.
Hey, likewise. Appreciate you. It's 10 o'clock. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories in Washington today, saying goodbye to South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, a ceremony being held in the Capitol Rotunda. A funeral service will be held this afternoon at the National Cathedral, where he'll be eulogized by President Trump. ABC's Jay O'Brien says he is there and says Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will attend that funeral today.
Graham was instrumental in just the final days of his life of pulling together the support in the Senate for a sweeping Russian sanctions bill that the Senate is expected to take up as soon as today. That bill now bears Graham's name. Also in attendance here, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Graham, who was known for his hawkish foreign policy, was a fervent supporter of Israel and wars in Gaza and then later Iran, and he long pushed the U.S. to take military action against the Iranian regime.
Now, at the moment, the Capitol Rotunda ceremony honoring Senator Lindsey Graham is taking place. Lawmakers one by one approaching his casket, saying their last respects to the senator. Just across the Tennessee border overnight, a baby was found dead inside a home during an investigation into that house. WSMV4's Holly Thompson reports.
They say the one-year-old child was subjected to extreme neglect and forced to live in dangerous and hazardous conditions. Alexandra Price and Devin Williams are both facing criminal child abuse charges.
And the investigation continues. Police say more charges could be coming in this case. A Sumner County man convicted of raping a child for years, starting when she was 6 years old. He'll spend the rest of his life in prison now. Michael Cecil was convicted in May. He was sentenced yesterday to 70 years in prison without the possibility of any form of early release. A Christian father of 11 arrested for protesting at a Tennessee abortion clinic in 2021 has come to a settlement with the DOJ. Paul Vaughn was convicted and faced 10 years in prison for violating the FACE Act outside that clinic in Mount Juliet. 2 days after he was charged, federal agents raided Vaughn's home at gunpoint and arrested him in front of his family. Well, details of the settlement are being kept private, but Vaughn has told Fox News it is a seven-figure sum. He encouraged other people of faith to remain courageous regardless of who is in office. And Walmart has lost its battle that it has lost the title that it's held for 12 consecutive years. It is no longer the biggest company in the world.
At least not according to the Fortune Global 500 ranking released this morning. Amazon is number one this year with revenue surging 12% and surpassing $700 billion. Behind the online retailer is former #1 Walmart, followed by China's State Grid, United Healthcare Group, and Saudi Aramco. Apple comes in as the world's 6th largest company by revenue.
That's ABC's Jim Ryan. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Times are tough. Absolutely, I agree. Now, if you need a new truck or a minivan, maybe an SUV, Mid-10 Ford, they can help you out with great selection, terrific pricing as well. Mid-10 Ford, they've been around for 56 years, since 1969, helping people get the vehicle that is right for them. They can help you save $1,000 or more on select Ford trucks. They also offer special financing as well if you need it. Now, Mid-10 Ford, I like to say that they're a one-stop shop. You can buy your vehicle there at Mid-10 Ford. You can get it serviced. They have a body shop as well. So you want a brand new or a pre-owned vehicle, you can check out all of the great deals at their website, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. They offer low-pressure sales, maximum customer service if you show up at their business, 1319 Foster Avenue. This is a family-owned business going back 4 generations. So, yeah, they do know how to treat customers. So let them help you get into your next vehicle. Again, low-pressure sales, maximum customer service. Find them online, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. Let their family take care of your family. Times are tough. Absolutely, I agree. Now, if you need a new truck or a minivan, maybe an SUV, Mid-10 Ford, they can help you out with great selection, terrific pricing as well. Mid-10 Ford, they've been around for 56 years, since 1969, helping people get the vehicle that is right for them. They can help you save $1,000 or more on select Ford trucks. They also offer special financing as well if you need it. Now, Mid-10 Ford, I like to say that they're a one-stop shop. You can buy your vehicle there at Mid-10 Ford. You can get it serviced. They have a body shop as well. So you want a brand new or a pre-owned vehicle, you can check out all of the great deals at their website, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. They offer low-pressure sales, maximum customer service if you show up at their business, 1319 Foster Avenue. This is a family-owned business going back 4 generations. So, yeah, they do know how to treat customers. So let them help you get into your next vehicle. Again, low-pressure sales, maximum customer service. Find them online, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. Let their family take care of your family. Times are tough. Absolutely, I agree. Now, if you need a new truck or a minivan, maybe an SUV, Mid-10 Ford, they can help.
They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats.
It's 10:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. So why are we playing the jam again? We're not supposed to be playing this song anymore. It's very problematic. But sometimes you got to bring it back to the top.
They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. Eat the cat, eat the cat.
All right, so apparently ICE operations are going to be targeting the Haitian migrants in Ohio very, very soon.
They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the
song is completely unrelated. And I can't believe that you would think that the two are related. That's obviously rude. And why would you? It's just a jam, okay? It's just a TikTok trend. It has nothing to do with the story that we're talking about at all, okay? You were far more likely to be injured in a car accident via one of the Haitians than for them to steal your pet.
They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat.
Do you remember the viral video where it was Savannah Hernandez? She went to Springfield, Ohio to cover the Haitian migrant crisis as they were stealing geese and dogs and cats, allegedly. And she's like, She's in there and she's doing like, oh, car accidents have gone up like crazy. I'm pretty sure it was Savannah. It was like, I'm like 99% sure. It might have been somebody else, but I want to say it was Savannah. So she's talking to some guy and he's like, yeah, it's totally unsafe to even be driving around here in Springfield anymore because of all the Haitians that have come in. They don't have their driver's licenses. They're not used to being behind the wheel of a car. They can't read the street signs. And like literally as this street interview is going on, like you just hear like, screech, boom. And you like look behind him and like there's a bunch of Haitians jumping out of a car. It's like, couldn't have timed that any better. But what we're hearing is that ICE operations are going to be ramped up when it comes to the Haitians that were on temporary protected status in Springfield, Ohio.
This week, multiple federal sources tell our Bill Malugin ICE is planning to dramatically ramp up operations to find and arrest Haitian migrants. This comes after the Supreme Court cleared the way for the federal government to end temporary protected status for Haitians. More than 300,000 Haitians could be affected, and sources tell Fox Ohio is one state that could be heavily targeted, as there are a lot of Haitians living in Springfield.
So they're going to Springfield. They're going to round up the Haitians. And after that Supreme Court decision came down, if you were like me, you jumped on a lot of Springfield, Ohio community Facebook pages. I got a burner account sometimes. Sometimes I do it. Sometimes I'm scheming around. I'm seeing what's going on. And on all of these community pages around Springfield, Ohio, like every Ohioan, is it an Ohioan? 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 They were all very excited. They were ecstatic that they would be getting their towns back from the massive influx of Haitians because the cost of everything had gone up because of them, the rent to the car insurance. And it was just people, person after person, completely overjoyed. Like you were looking at comment threads with hundreds of people. They couldn't have been happier that the Supreme Court realized that temporary meant just that, temporary, and that the Trump administration had every right to say it's time for you to go home. Now, if you were just going off those Facebook threads, you would have thought that everyone in Ohio was ecstatic about this. Not so fast. Pump the brakes. The governor of Ohio, not happy. The Republican governor of Ohio, not happy. Mike DeWine, probably one of the worst Republican governors in the entire country. It's one of the reasons why choosing your governor is so important. We don't need a weak-kneed rhino running the state of Tennessee. We just don't. I'm not saying that we have that, just to be fair. Like, I don't think Rose is a rhino. I don't think Blackburn is necessarily a rhino. I know Fritz isn't a rhino. But choosing your governor is very important. Now, Mike DeWine, you could make the argument that he's the worst Republican governor in the country, but he does have some competition. I don't know if you know this, but Vermont has a Republican governor, awful. Spencer Cox out in Utah, terrible. Chris Sununu, second time we mentioned Sununu on the show. He's probably going to be the governor in New Hampshire. He would be trash. But, you know, Mike DeWine is pretty bad. Mike DeWine went on CNN to talk to Jake Tapper, okay? He's like, Jake, this is heartbreaking. All of these poor Haitians, they really should be here forever. And that was never part of the deal, Mike. Mike, nobody agreed to that.
Late June, you wrote that more than 10,000 Haitians who've been living in Ohio may be subject to immediate deportation. What has happened with that community since?
Well, most of them have continued to work. I think some of them, have left. We don't really know how many, but there's certainly a lot of them.
Not enough
there that are still working. Of course, as you know, what happens when TPS actually goes into effect, which looks like it'll be tomorrow. They can't work anymore, and they won't have any way to make a living. It'll be illegal for companies to employ them. So it's going to be a big blow to the community.
Is it though? Is that a big blow? I feel like that just means that more Americans can get those jobs. All the Haitians that are in Springfield, Ohio working are taking jobs from American citizens. So who is it a blow to? I mean, is it a blow to the people that were born and raised in Springfield, Ohio? or is it a blow to the people that don't want to pay Americans livable wages?
These are people who came here to work. They came here.
I thought they came here because they were fleeing. They were fleeing a terrible crisis. They were dealing with just the worst. It was a humanitarian crisis. We had to let them in. It was heartbreaking for a little bit until their country got better. Spoiler: it's Haiti. It's not going to get much better, but it got bad. It's a better. It's a little better.
Fill jobs that were not being filled. The city of Springfield has come back strongly over the last few years, an old industrial city that now is really coming back and moving forward. One of the reasons they've been able to do that is because of the Haitians who have filled these jobs. They not only have filled jobs, they've started open restaurants, they've bought homes and rehabbed houses.
They've done so much. You know, what used to be known as an industrial town in one of the hearts of the Midwest, it really did come back. It's once again on the map, albeit for different reasons.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs.
Sorry, I didn't mean to play that. Completely unrelated. I don't know. I don't know how to work this computer sometimes. So, my apologies. We're just getting into year 3. We're figuring things out. All I know is that Mike DeWine is a piece of trash. Mike DeWine needs to be replaced. Vivek Ramaswamy is going to be a much better Republican governor. If he wins, he's going to have an uphill battle. And I don't know. You tell me. I think Vivek will be better than DeWine. I don't know if he's going to be the best, but we'll see. He'll absolutely be an improvement. I mean, what you're looking at with Governor Mike DeWine is arguably the biggest rhino governor in the country. And just to highlight the point why Mike DeWine in Ohio deserves that reputation, let's take a little trip down memory lane. Mike DeWine, the governor of Ohio, vetoed House Bill 68. This is in December of 2023. The bill would have banned gender-affirming care, puberty blockers, hormones, surgeries for minors, and it would have barred transgender athletes from participating in girls' and women's sports. No boys in girls' sports. DeWine said he had to veto it because it was government overreach, and he argued that parents suffering from Munchausen syndrome by proxy and doctors motivated by the big money in gender-affirming care, they should be the ones to decide those things. Mike DeWine, the Republican governor from Ohio, was very early and very aggressive in his COVID-19 era lockdowns, business closures, mask mandates. One of the first governors in the country, actually, to mandate masks. You got to wear your mask. You got to wear your mask. Mike DeWine, who claims to be a Republican, has supported and proposed tax increases, including on sports betting and other revenue measures. They call him the Rhino tax hiker in Ohio. That's what they call him. And he's also vetoed a Republican bill that would have required photo IDs for absentee and mail ballots, arguing that it would overburden things without meaningful security gains. That's Mike DeWine. Complete trash. Complete trash. But he's on his way out soon. Don't worry. Don't worry. It'll get better. I hope. Could get worse. Could get worse. A Democrat could win. But at least the Democrat's not going to tell us that that things are great while they hate us. You know what I mean? I'd rather have a Democrat tell me that I'm a bigot and an idiot and a loser than a Republican not tell me that and think it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Maybe. Let's go to our friend Bonnie on the phone. What's up, Bonnie? How are you?
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. It's been a while since you've called in, Bonnie. You doing good?
Well, I called in last week, and I was talking to Matt. Matt got mad at me and cut me off the phone.
Well, you know, that guy and his temper, I'll have a talk with him.
He's a little, I think he's a swinger. I think he's in between a Democrat and a Republican.
Matt? You think Matt's in between a Democrat and a Republican?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. So we do a podcast every week, and Matt and I, we were texting last night, And I said, because Dan's not going to be there this week when we do our podcast. Spoiler alert. So I said to Matt, we need to find something that we disagree on. And we couldn't really come up with many things. And because I wanted to have an argument during the podcast. And I think I just found something to really roast Matt on. I'm going to come in guns blazing, and I'm going to say you were disrespectful to Miss Bonnie, and you need to make a public apology.
He was. And let me tell you this, okay? I don't want to make it short because I know maybe there's other people that would like to talk, and I don't want to take all the time up.
We constantly, Miss Bonnie, we have a phone bank full of people who think Matt has lost his temper about something.
Well, I think Matt's maybe not happy at home with his woman. And a lot of times when
Bonnie just went for the jugular. She's slicing and dicing.
I don't care. But, okay. This is what I want to talk about. Okay, the illegals. There are illegal Hispanic, Haitians. They speak Creole and French. They work 2 or 3 jobs. They work more than a Hispanic does. I met them when I was in South Florida. And they are wonderful people. I like them. There are illegal Russians and everything else out there. Okay. I don't hear anybody talking and everybody listening. I know there's a lot of people listening. How about these Amish people?
Tell me about it.
Everybody raves with the Amish this and the Amish that. Let me tell you something. That I know of, they don't pay any taxes.
Deadbeats.
If they do, I wish somebody would call in and say, because they're buying up all this land, I don't even know if they have a Social Security number.
Yeah, Bonnie, finally somebody says the quiet part out loud. I am sick and tired of the Amish as well.
Well, no, I'm not saying I'm sick and tired of it.
I think we should be deporting the Amish.
Well, no, I'm not trying to make fun and get you making everybody laugh and stuff.
No, I would not. I'm not trying to laugh.
Because they're not blacks. They're not Spanish. They're white people. Okay, their religion. If they can live in this country and not pay taxes or not pay whatever, then how come anybody can't do it? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to find out if these people are paying taxes and if they have Social Security numbers, because they really don't live in our world. But I do know if they need to go to the doctor and they're real bad, they go to regular doctors. And they do have a Dr. Rubin that's up there in Kentucky, in eastern Kentucky, somewhere near the Tennessee state line. And
I'm pretty sure the Amish pay taxes, but I will tell you this.
I don't know that they do.
I'm pretty sure they do, but I have been anti-Amish for a while, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
I had some friends, and these Amish kids, these punks, right? They would sneak out of their little Amish community. And this is when I lived in Pennsylvania for a little while. They would sneak out of their Amish community, okay? And they would come over in the dead of night, 2, 3 a.m., and they would sneak into my friend's vehicle, and they would turn on the radio, breaking all their rules, okay? And they would drain my buddy's battery pretty much every single night, and he had no idea what was going on. So these Amish kids, these punks, they'd come in, and they would listen to all of this music all night long until the battery was drained, and it was very problematic for everyone involved.
Well, now that just sounds hocus pocus. Because how come your friend, if he was catching on to it, why didn't he keep the key out of the car? And then why didn't he go tell their parents? And then the Amish people, they know where their kids are.
Well, I mean, you've seen the show Amish Mafia, I'm sure, Bonnie. Like, you don't want to mess with those folks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's legit. I'm telling you.
Now, are you telling me there's a mafia in the Amish?
100%, and they made a reality show about it. It was actually pretty sick.
Don't tell me something. Now I'm going to go digging up bones.
I'm telling you, that's a rabbit hole you need to go down, Miss Bonnie.
Amish chocolate? Are you serious?
I'm serious as a heart attack.
Well, I'm glad you didn't cut me off because I was going to bash you too.
Save that for another day, all right, Miss Bonnie?
All
do
right,
that.
well, you have a
Listen,
good day.
if you're gonna bash me, just at least do it on another show when I can't respond, okay?
I know. Hey, get some other people to call in about the Amish. I really would like to know because it is, I really don't like them deporting people. I did vote for Donald Trump, and I'm totally against Donald Trump now because he has lied to us about the prices and everything, and he's all for the rich. He's for the people that make at least $100,000 and more. He doesn't give a crap about us. I know that. I realize that. And
I think that's everybody in DC. I don't think that's just a Donald Trump thing.
Yeah, I'm voting Democrat next time. I don't care who cares.
You know who I'm voting for? Anyone with a platform that will finally hold the Amish accountable. Amen.
Well, that too.
Thank you, Miss Bonnie. I appreciate the call. It's 10:25. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Better Water LLC. If you're tired of weird smells coming off your water, it's staining your clothes when you wash them, or it just tastes bad, you need to clean it up, and you need to call Better Water to do it for you. Think of it like installing a giant Brita filter for your entire house, or you could scale it down to fit right under your sink, or you could do it for your whole business, and these guys handle everything. You could have some nasty stuff in your water: sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, even E. coli. Now, if you have any of that nasty stuff in it, Better Water's going to figure it out. They'll test your water for free, and then if you have some gross stuff, they got a range of options: reverse osmosis, specialized filters, UV lights, you name it. Better Water has you covered. Local company based out of Smyrna. They're already treating the water at the hospitals and the coffee shops around town. You've probably already tasted their work, and you didn't even know it. You're like, wow, this water tastes amazing. It's like, yeah, it's Better Water. Listen, stop drinking the junk out of your tap. Give Better Water a call today. 615-355-6063, 615-355-6063, or find them online, betterwater.com.
Of confirming a director of national intelligence. We've got that coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Miss Bonnie, if you're still listening, I just want you to let you know I have been in contact with Matt Murphy, and I am currently relaying all of your grievances to him. We're going to get to the bottom of this, and by God, we're going to fix the Amish problem in this country once and for all. I'm just looking at the text. 4562 said, Bonnie for president 2028. Amen. Amen. We love you, Miss Bonnie. Thank you for calling in. So good. I don't know how to recover from that. What I do know is that on the way, we got John Rose stopping by the show. It's going to be around 11 o'clock. He's voting today. So I'm going to ask him the question that's on everybody's mind. Who are you voting for? Is it Fritz or is it Blackburn? We'll also dive into his thoughts on everything from PAC money to flock cameras and everything in between. If you got any questions for Congressman Rose, you can text him in 615-737-9986. We're going to have a good conversation. We're looking forward to it. Also on the way, we're going to talk a little bit about the Democrat Socialists of America and the Save America Act. Spoiler alert, the Democrat Socialists of America are insane, and the Republicans continue to sit on their hands with the Save America Act. We'll touch on both of those when we get back. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The U.S. Senate has cleared the way for Jay Clayton to become the head of the nation's intelligence agencies, advancing his nomination through a key hurdle last night. Now, the Senate votes on his full confirmation tonight. He'll replace Tulsi Gabbard, who stepped down earlier to care for her husband after his diagnosis with cancer. The trial over just how addictive Instagram is for kids continues in Nashville today. Yesterday, a former Meta employee testified as the state's first witness.
I told him that there was a critical gap in the way that the company understood and dealt with harm. I told him numbers about 13 to 15-year-olds experiencing harm on the platform. And I told them things that the company could do about it to help deal with those harms.
What year was that?
That was in 2021.
Okay. Did Mr. Zuckerberg ever respond to you?
No, he never replied.
The state of Tennessee accusing Meta of making its platforms like Instagram intentionally addictive to kids. In the case of the killings of 4 Idaho college students, Brian Koberger, after pleading guilty to the murders, is now proclaiming his innocence. The self-confessed killer seeking to withdraw his guilty plea. He's claiming he was coerced into the admission. Here's ABC's Hannah Battah.
Koberger, who had no known connection to the victims, admitted to the killings, though he never provided a motive. Now, in a handwritten petition, Koberger is asking for the case to go to trial because he claims he was convinced to falsely confess by coercion, disinformation, false promises, and the withholding of exculpatory discovery.
That's the latest news. We've got weather just ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Zero Res Nashville. You know me and my wife. We got 4 kids, 2 dogs. My wife and I, we do a good job at keeping the carpets clean. Everybody else, it's a bit of a work in progress. And, you know, the kids, they don't clean up after themselves. And we got tired of doing the work, so we just started calling Zero Res. These guys are the absolute best when it comes to cleaning your carpets. They are the Maha of carpet cleaning. They don't use harsh chemicals. They don't leave soap residue behind. Your carpets are going to look cleaner than ever before. They're going to stay cleaner longer, and it's safe for the entire family and for the pets. Fits right in with the whole Maha idea of keeping our homes healthier, and the difference is going to be obvious to you right away. The carpets feel better, look better, feel softer, dry faster than any cleaning you've ever had done. Call my friends at Zero Res today. We're not the only ones noticing, my wife and I. Thousands of reviews, one of the best ratings in Nashville, 2- and 3-room carpet specials going on today. 615-535-9376, 615-535-9376, and you can book online, ZeroResNashville.com.
Hey, this is Shane Ring here at Cover Nash. If you think you got to wait for open enrollment to get health insurance, that's wrong. That's just what the big companies want you to think. Here at Cover Nash, we help people get covered year-round, no waiting, with no gimmicks. We can help you. We have over 75 top-rated health insurance companies, every type of plan on the market. So stop overpaying, stop waiting, and stop thinking you're stuck. Just go to covernash.com or call 615-465-0023. Health insurance on your terms, not the government's.
This Saturday at 9, tune into the Efficient Heating and Cooling Hour with Jeff Eddy. It's your home. Keep it comfortable through the changing of the seasons. Questions about heating, cooling, air quality, and more with Jeff Eddy. Saturdays at 9 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Sponsored by Efficient HVAC.
I'm WSMV4 First Alert meteorologist Stefano DiPietro. Dangerous heat and humidity again today. Highs in the upper 90s. A heat index as high as 110 degrees. Mostly sunny for a lot of our day, but then this evening there'll be a strong thunderstorm east of I-65. Gusty wind, heavy downpour with any thunderstorm. Tonight we're drying out down to the 70s for the overnight low. We are near 90 Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Good sunshine and less humid. Then we're tracking some rain for the upcoming weekend.
38 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The only show bold enough to be anti-Amish. My name is Chris Hand. This is... what?
It's so bold because the Amish can't even hear your show.
They can't see me. They're not watching on YouTube. They're not hitting like and subscribe. I don't have to worry about the Amish.
Exactly. You're calling out people who can't even defend themselves.
To be fair, I call out people that can defend themselves as well.
This is true.
But we don't shy away from anti-Amish takes. We never have. We never will. That's my promise to you.
We're very pro-anti-Amish.
Exactly. Nailed it. By the way, Matt Murphy is listening. He's been fully briefed on Miss Bonnie and the details of that phone call. And I'm sure he'll have an update this afternoon. If I was a betting man. I also got a text from my dad. We were talking about the Amish Mafia, and he said, be careful and keep your head on a swivel if you hear hoofbeats coming down the street. You hear that clippity-clap, you might get clippity-clap, dog. You know what I mean? Do Amish use guns? Or are they more like a bow and arrow knife guy?
Maybe like musket?
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like they're more musket cannon people.
Musket cannon?
Drive by with cannons out of the back of their trailers.
That'd be sick.
Because their thing is that they can't use technology, but technically anything is technology. You know, like even, a sword is technically more technologically advanced than whatever they had before.
But they got blacksmiths in the Amish communities.
Yeah, that's what I mean is like, I don't know where you draw the line of like technology, like if they have a certain guideline of like, oh, this is satanic technology, this isn't, like, I don't know.
Well, the Crusaders use swords.
Yeah.
So, like, that's that's going back a distance.
But I think Amish people are pretty anti the Crusades.
They're not fans?
No, I'm pretty sure they like very anti-Catholic. Very anti. Yeah.
They're anti-Catholic?
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like they would have been closer to Catholic.
No, I think
Like,
the
if you were
Amish are
putting-
closest to
okay.
Quakers and stuff, aren't they?
But if you had a scale, right?
Sure.
And on one side it's Mormon, and then on the other side is Catholic, I'm having the Amish closer to the Catholics.
I'd put them. You know,
what I
I don't
mean?
even think it's a line. I think it's more of like a square.
Is it a spectrum?
Yeah, I think it's one of those like political spectrums. Yeah.
People
It's
are
the
sa-
spectrum. It's the theological spectrum.
Okay, I'm getting mixed messages from you. I don't think this audience knows much about the Amish.
They don't know
because
anything
I'm
about the
getting
Amish,
I'm getting people being like, no, they use shotguns and rifles, and then I'm Dave's texting, and he's like, they don't even believe in violence.
I've never seen a violent Amish person. They're always super nice.
Well, yeah.
Like the Mormons. But are they right? Probably not. Like the Mormons.
I think the Amish get a lot more right
Than the Mormons?
than
Oh,
they
yeah,
get
probably.
wrong. I mean, just like
Yeah.
I mean, like what
Lifestyle-wise, yes.
lifestyle-wise, like what do you think is safer? You know, a Mormon community or a Mormon community or an Amish community to hang out with your kids? I would go Amish.
Yeah. They teach your kids how to like grow their own stuff.
You ever see them put up a barn?
Only in
Wild.
Family Guy.
Well, in East Tennessee, wasn't it? East Tennessee when the floods happened, and in Western North Carolina, didn't the Amish like roll deep, and they built a bunch of stuff.
They helped rebuild so much.
They probably did it for free too.
Yeah, I think.
Exchange of goods.
Exchange of good. They bartered. They bartered. Tracy's on the line. He has some thoughts on the Amish. What's up? What's up, Tracy?
Hey, what's going on, Chris?
Talk to me, man.
I was just going to let you know, I think Trump is a brilliant man. I know the Amish is a problem. I just feel like the reason he put Iran and Cuba above taking out the Amish is because until Taco Bell can get clean lettuce, we still kind of depend on them.
It's true. No, that's a good point. It's a good point. This isn't what I voted for. I didn't vote for Middle Eastern wars. I voted for the Amish to be deported. Mass Amish deportations.
But we have to have the lettuce first, just like the uranium.
We have to do. If they tell us it's a war for lettuce, like why aren't we taking the lettuce fields? You know what I mean? We never take the lettuce fields. We always leave it behind. And that's we waste all of our blood, all of our treasure, and we leave the lettuce fields.
And I think Bonnie would be. I think she would be all in if she realized, that the lettuce is important.
It is. I mean, it is. People don't think it'd be like it is, but it do, Tracy. It do. I appreciate it. Speaking of deportations, I'm hoping that this includes the Amish. I'm not going to hold my breath. Like Tom Homan, he never addresses the elephant in the room, which is the Amish. But he did refuse to let Dana Bash smear ICE agents the other day, which I thought was good. We need our ICE agents on the street. Amish be damned, And everybody knows it.
This is a kind of a rare instance, but again, it's under review. There's several things under review, right? The training is under review, and I know that the acting ICE director now, David Ventrella, has added additional training because I'm one that supports you can't ever have too much training. So let's add additional field training. Once you get an academy, be assigned to journeyman and get on the field training also. So the training is under review. I know this specific case, as far as the vetting, is under review by Internal Affairs section. So we'll see where it lies. But certainly if this person had that type of history, it would have been a vetting issue, and it should have been brought to the attention of those who make those decisions.
Yeah, we need more training to properly, adequately deal with and deport the Amish. Let's stop ignoring the hard truths here. It's about time. Mason, you all right?
I'm good.
Mason's like in the studio with me. He almost caused himself to have an aneurysm because he held his sneeze in.
Yeah, that was rough.
You could have just sneezed.
Listen, you were in the middle of making a point. I'm not going to cut you off.
Just sneeze on air, Mason.
Sneeze on air. Do it. Nothing infuriates the Amish more.
Hold on. Sorry, I do have a comment about the Amish. Do you think they're going through this lettuce crisis and not realizing that there's an issue with the lettuce?
They went through COVID and didn't realize there was an issue.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering, are they having explosive diarrhea fits and not realizing that it's connected to their lettuce fields?
I thought the explosive diarrhea was just because of Taco Bell lettuce. I didn't know it was all lettuce.
No, it's Taylor Farms lettuce.
Yeah, it's Taylor Farms.
So yesterday we had a doctor's appointment. We brought all the kids with us for the baby, right? And we drove by the Taylor Farms factory. And my wife said, "Look, kids, it's the diarrhea factory." Dude, it was the funniest thing. The belly laughter from the kids made it all worth it. Like, what? Yep, that's where it comes from.
That's so good.
Brian on the road. What's up, man? How are you?
Dude, Taylor Farms, a.k.a., right? Diarrhea Farm or whatever.
It's the diarrhea factory, kids.
That's too funny. Virginia don't need to be that funny carrying a baby. She needs to calm down. Don't be dogging people. Bonnie tore me up. Bonnie tore me up, dude. She said Matt is a Nazi or whatever. And I was like, he ain't a Republican or Democrat. He's a libertarian like you say you are sometimes. And I say I am.
Little L.
But I'm thinking you yourself, you ought to have a fundraiser where you let the Amish cut your hair. All they got to do is bring a bowl, and you look good, man. Keep that beard, like you say. You ain't never been without a beard.
You know what? We're gonna do. We've been working and experimenting with thumbnails, and we're on the thumbnail for the YouTube show tomorrow.
Yeah,
I am going to, Gabe, write it down. We need to make me look Amish.
Perfect.
All right.
Chris Hand will look Amish on the thumbnail tomorrow.
Mark it down,
Don't
Brian.
get too crazy. Don't get too crazy with the Mennonite.
No. That's where we draw the line. All of us have families, Brian. All right.
That's right. All right, bro.
Appreciate the call.
Dude, you got to get you a long sleeve white shirt without a collar and button it all the way up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do that tomorrow just for fun. Just even outside the Amish.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt Murphy's on the phone. I don't know if you know this. Gabe is still training. If you say Matt Murphy's name too many times on air, it's like you ever do it as a kid where you say Bloody Mary 3 times in the mirror with the lights off and then you flip it on and then you're like, this is Bloody Mary's behind you. It's the same thing on this radio station with Matt Murphy. Matt, welcome to the show.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. What would you like to respond to first, Matt?
All right. First off, I'm going to tread very lightly regarding the Amish conversation. I don't know if you know this or not, but there's a heavy. We don't say the M word around Mount Pleasant, Chris. We don't talk about the you know what I'm saying, because the Amish get really, really touchy when you use the M word regarding their goings on down here in Mount Pleasant, Summertown, Lawrence County. A lot of Amish population down here. I don't know if Miss Bonnie recognizes the stranglehold that the Amish have on this poor community down here. I'm just beginning to learn it. So I'm not going to talk negatively about the Amish in any way because I'm pretty sure actually, I would be sure that they're bugging my house, although they don't use electronics. So how would they do that, right?
It's just a kid with a cup and he's up against the wall.
Right, he's up against the wall. I've long said on my show, Chris, that the two groups of people that you can go after with impunity on the radio are the Amish and the deaf, right? Because what are they going to do? I mean, and what heartless bastard is going to tell them that you're talking nasty about them on the radio? Why would you do that? They don't know.
It's a good point.
But I can go down. Listen, regularly there's this little Amish fella that sits in front of the AutoZone in Mount Pleasant, and he sells his wares. I mean, I'm sure he's selling something out of the back of the wagon. I don't know what's going on back there, but out front he's selling tomatoes and okra and those other items that I'm sure he's not paying taxes on, Bonnie, if you're still listening.
And out the back he's selling lettuce.
Yeah, exactly. What kind of lettuce?
No pun intended.
Listen, you don't get no poop lettuce from those Amish people. I'll tell you that.
So
those Mexicans, maybe. The Amish, no.
So
never.
let's address the elephant in the room, though. I mean, enough about the Amish. Why are you cutting off people on your radio show, Matt?
So here's what I would offer as a defense of Matt Murphy. I would encourage people to go back and listen to Bonnie on the Chris Hand show. And that is my defense for cutting Bonnie off on the Matt Murphy show.
She's spreading too much truth for you, Matt. Matt's getting paid off by Big Amish. $7,000 has been deposited into your account, Matt.
Here's what I would like to do. I would like to offer Bonnie an hour-long opportunity on the Matt Murphy show. She can come in, she can sit down, we can have a conversation. We'll talk about anything that she wants to talk about. It will be the Bonnie show from whatever time she wants, 5 to 6, 6 to 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And Bonnie can lead the conversation. I feel like that's fair.
So we were getting texts in. I told people that Dan already bagged the podcast this week, so it's just you and I. And people are saying that Bonnie should join us on the podcast.
Let's go. Come on, Bonnie.
We need it. The people do.
You know what? I know a couple of good Amish lads that can give her a ride to the station if she needs it.
Hey, listen, you hear that clip-clop coming, you got to keep your head on the swivel. You might get clip-clapped.
Well, if we're still recording on Thursday, if Bonnie wants to ride with the Amish to Nashville, she better get in the wagon today.
That's a good call.
Thanks a minute.
Absolutely a good call. What do you got coming up on your show today?
Nothing like the John Rose interview. I'm very excited about listening to John Rose on the show. Obviously, we're going to continue to talk about the governor's race. Have you seen the new Marsha ad, the anti-Marsha ad that's like a big pharma commercial?
No.
Oh, dude. You got to see this.
All right,
I'm trying to find it online to play it on my show. I can't find it anywhere online. It is absolutely hilarious. It's like a pharmaceutical ad, but it's an anti-Marsha ad. Go find it.
Did you see the meme where it's a Marsha lady pretending to be Marsha, and she's like, "I'm so tired of these Italians. This is how I'm going to deal with them," and she's like ripping up pasta. And she's like, all these little Italies invading our neighborhoods, not on my watch. And then she's like, I'm tired of these Mexicans with their taco stand. This is what I'm going to do. And she's like crunching taco shells. And then she said, and then she's like, and those Irish, and she's holding the potato, dancing without their arms. She's like, this is what I'm going to do. She like tries to squeeze the potato and nothing happens. So she breaks out a knife and just starts chopping it.
It's like a South Park episode.
That's what we need.
Oh,
I think Bonnie would consider that to be a perfect political ad if she ended it going after the Amish.
These Amish with their butter. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to churn the Amish.
Electricity.
Matt Murphy, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Murphy. Thank you. Thank you for calling in. It's 10:53. John Rose joins us at 11:05. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. I talk to these guys all the time. Brock over at Busy Bee is awesome. And I'm always like, Brock, what deals do the people need to know about this week? You got something on HVACs, you got something on plumbing. He's like, Chris, we always have deals. We always have the best prices in town. But what we need you to talk about is more important than HVAC units or plumbing or cleaning out your air ducts. I said, all right, fill me in. He said, we're having a back to school drive. We need school supplies for kids in Middle Tennessee in need. And we're asking the community to step up. The WTN audience always does. So if you can help out, that would be absolutely massive. Notebooks, pencils, crayons, colored pencils, backpacks, scissors, folders, tissues, hand sanitizer, all the things. You can bring it to the headquarters of Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 137 Southside Park Drive in Lebanon, Tennessee. 137 Southside Park Drive in Lebanon, Tennessee. Bring the back-to-school supplies. Land a $50 coupon off any service. BusyBeeHVAC.com.
I was always flat-footed, and I always had the excruciating foot pains my whole life. When I'd walk, I would have to sit down just watching people go by you.
This is Alan, and this is his good feet story.
I tried the drugstore inserts, physical therapy, icing, massage therapy. Nothing worked, and I couldn't take it anymore. I went to the Good Feet store. They fitted me for arch supports, and it changed my life. The Good Feet arch supports have been liberating. I never thought it could happen. I became a walker and doer again.
For over 30 years, the Good Feet store has been helping improve the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time.
But my Good Feet Art Supports, I don't have to worry. Oh no, we have to wait for him again. Now I'm like, I'm gonna run it right by you and I'll pass you up. My biggest regret is not going to the Good Feet store years ago. I mean, I feel absolutely free again. It's like my fountain of youth. It is an absolute miracle.
See how we can help you with a free arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store is located in Belmead, Clarksville, Franklin, Murfreesboro, and Mount Juliet.
Bowing, so that wall is pushed in a little bit. But we have a lifetime warranty solution for that. So we install, usually in a day or two, this can be done in most situations. We install carbon fiber straps, which keep the wall from moving inward.
34 years. That's how long Marsha Blackburn has been in politics. She ran for Congress, State Senate, Congress 8 more times, U.S. Senate twice. I voted for her, and I bet you did too. Now Marsha Blackburn wants to end her career as governor. We all owe Marsha our sincere thanks for her service, but we don't owe her the governor's office.
John Rose.
It's not a reward, it's a tough job for a tough, conservative CEO. I'm John Rose. Like President Trump and previous Tennessee governors, I'm a CEO. I grew 2 great technology
What's up, guys?
companies.
It's Matt Murphy.
I created jobs. I made a payroll and made tough decisions. To run our state, we need someone who's run a business, not just someone who's run for office. I'm John Rose, and I'm applying to do the job.
For Governor, John Rose. Keep Tennessee, Tennessee. Paid for by Rose for Tennessee. Jeff Aiken, Treasurer.
Middle Tennessee under threat of severe weather in our nation's capital. Everybody's paying respects to Lindsey Graham. Consumer confidence drops again. And Apple has unveiled a new way to get the latest iPhone, but it may feel a lot like buying a car. These stories and more coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Thanks again to Matt Murphy for calling in. Thanks again to Miss Bonnie for calling in. We got John Rose on the way. My wife texted me. I love my wife, don't get me wrong. But she said, be nice to John Rose. I'm like, why would I be nice to John Rose? Maybe she knows I'm going to ask him the hard questions.
Did she say, why wouldn't you? Or did you say, why wouldn't you? Or why would you?
I just said I will, obviously.
Good, obviously.
But things could change rather quickly and rather dramatically depending on what his answer is to what he's going to do about the Amish problem in this country.
Would you consider it an invasion?
Yeah.
Slow and encroaching?
I would, and I'm tired of pretending it's not. I'm going to ask him the AQ, the Amish question. And then I'm going to say, have you taken money from APAC?
From APAC.
The Amish Interest Partnership. Is that what you've done? Does the A stand for Amish? We're going to ask him some questions. I really am, though, like all jokes aside. I got some good questions lined up for John. We're going to talk about flock cameras. We're going to talk about PAC money and self-funding reality. We're going to talk about the recent public stories put out by the Tennessee Star. Were you donating to Democrats who wanted to add a state income tax? You worked for the governor that wanted to add a state income tax. We're going to walk through those. We're also going to ask him about a post from back in 2020 his company posted, and we'll talk about all of that. And we're really looking forward to it. John is not fearful at all. He doesn't want softball questions. He wants to be your governor. So hard questions are a part of that. John Rose joins the show next. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's 11 o'clock. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Rough weather in the Midwest, including a reported tornado in Wisconsin. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay with more.
Storms also hammering the Chicago, triggering flash flooding and leaving a trail of damage.
It's like some huge dinosaur just stomped on everything.
Buildings ripped open, debris scattered across streets. Overnight, hundreds of thousands of customers without power across the region.
Yeah, today in Middle Tennessee, I don't think we're going to have to worry about anything like that. However, about the entire eastern half of Middle Tennessee is under at least a level 1 out of 5 risk for severe weather, with strong winds and heavy rain the main threats. Right now in our nation's capital, lawmakers and other notable dignitaries paying respects to Senator Lindsey Graham, who died 2 weeks ago at the age of 71. Graham's coffin is in the Capitol Rotunda, where speakers, including Vice President J.D. Vance, remembered him.
So I choose to remember Lindsey Graham as a man who could disagree with you without being disagreeable. I choose to remember Lindsey Graham as a person who could fight with you on one issue, but fight for you on another issue. I remember Lindsey Graham as a man who loved people, and because he loved people, he was willing to reason with them.
Against the backdrop of the U.S.-Iran war, consumer confidence has fallen for a third straight month. We get more from ABC's Jim Ryan.
The Conference Board asks Americans for their assessment of current economic conditions and how they're feeling about the short-term future. For the third consecutive month, the Present Situation Index has fallen, while the Expectations Index has remained steady. Looking ahead, the Conference Board finds that consumers anticipate little improvement in business conditions over the next 6 months. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
And Apple taking a page out of the car dealership playbook with its new leasing strategy. Here's Mike Dubusky.
iPhones, iPads, Mac computers, and Apple Watches will soon be available to lease under the new Apple Upgrade program. The tech giant says lease terms will run between 12 and 36 months with no fees or interest payments. The program will be operated by Klarna. At the end of the term, customers can buy their device at the list price, upgrade to a newer model, or walk away.
A Georgia man bitten by a shark this past weekend while in the water at a beach in Volusia County, Florida. According to beach safety officials, Ja'Cory High bitten on his foot and ankle.
I was floating a little bit on the wave. That's when the shark bit down on my foot, and then it tried to go for my arm, so I pushed it away from me.
He says after surgery, he's set to return home to Georgia. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen on all the apps, the FM dial. You can watch us on YouTube and Rumble. We have Congressman John Rose in studio. We're going to have a big, long interview with the congressman. We're really excited about it. And I do think that YouTube and Rumble is the preferred way to vote because I think body language tells you a lot about a person. So it's one of those additional features that we have, and I think that you should tune in on the video. Congressman Rose, welcome to the program.
Good to be with you, Chris. Thanks for having me on today.
Of course. I was telling a story earlier that we're getting into year 3 of my show here, and the first congressman to call into my program was you. And you called in out of the blue to comment on a topic that we were just talking about. And I remember looking at my producer at the time. I was like, that's wild. I was like, I don't think I fully grasped the power of this radio station. So I always have had a lot of respect for you. And that meant a lot to me at the time. So I'm excited to have you back on. I am going to ask some hard questions. I think that you want to be the governor of this state, and I think that that's what the audience wants. So I respect that you're not fearful of that.
Absolutely. That's why we've been doing open to the public town halls, taking unfiltered questions for more than 2 months now. And of course, for 16 months, traveling across the state, listening to Tennesseans. And so, we're not afraid of that, and happy to be here today and take those questions today as well.
Perfect. Let's start here. Your campaign's largely self-funded. You have about $9 million of the $10.8 to $11 million raised has been your own money or loans. You have taken some PAC money at the state level. And historically, at the federal level, you've taken PAC money from APAC, realtors, bankers, home builders, farm credit, etc. So where is the line on PAC money for you in this race? And have you taken any from Big Pharma, Big Ag, or APAC-linked groups?
So the thing I would start out by saying all 3 candidates in this race have taken PAC money. We're particularly proud that more of our contributions than any candidate in this race, and listen to that carefully, more, if you look at the most recent report, more of our contributions than any other candidate have come from Tennesseans. And so, the answer is I've never made a pledge that I wouldn't take PAC money. I wouldn't say I'd take anyone's money, but, we firmly believe that, PACs are groups of people who get together to advance issues that are important to them, whether that's farmers or, realtors or bankers, whoever it might be. And so, that's part of the landscape of politics. And so, yes, we have accepted that money, and I, would say would continue to accept it in the future. But, the important thing here is, to note, and you've noted it, I'm the biggest supporter of my campaign. Tennesseans are the biggest supporters of my campaign of any of the 3. And, I'm reminded as I think about our own contributions to our campaign of the line from the treasurer's part of the FFA Creed, where the treasurer says, and I was once the chapter treasurer, and the line is, George Washington was better able to serve his country because he was financially independent. And so as you think about this race, are you going to trust a candidate who's gotten millions of dollars and 76% of their support from out-of-state PACs and millionaires, or are you going to support someone who has invested in their own campaign and is financially independent?
John Rose joining us. A lot of criticisms online has been labeled at APAC. Where do you stand with APAC today, and what are your thoughts on the criticisms that you see?
Yeah, so APAC is a group that is advocating for America to help support and defend our most important ally in the Middle East, Israel. And those, APAC supporters who've helped me historically, and the vast majority of those contributions incidentally come from individual Americans, United States citizens, of course. To be legal, that's where they have to come from. And these are folks who believe that we ought to safeguard that relationship, the most promising democracy, really the only democracy in the Middle East, and a longtime ally. And for those of us who are Christians, the scripture is pretty straightforward that God calls on us to defend Israel. And so I think, for me, what I've seen is those individuals are patriots. Many of them served in the military. And so I have not understood the recent questioning of the APAC affiliation.
Medical marijuana. Last time we spoke, you were very clear that if a medical marijuana bill made it to your desk as governor, you would veto it. Have you expanded or thought more about that since our last conversation? Has that position changed in any way? If a tightly written medical-only bill that would help veterans or cancer patients or epileptics reached your desk as governor with no recreational path, with strict controls, would you still veto that?
I think so. And I've continued to listen to Tennesseans about this, talking to law enforcement officials, talking to prosecutors, talking to physicians all across the state. And with one exception, every doctor, law enforcement, prosecutor that I've talked to say, do not legalize marijuana, even for medicinal purposes, because it will be a gateway, a pathway to drug abuse. And, probably the example I would give, recently spent a couple hours with the Drug Enforcement Agency officials here in the Middle Tennessee area, and they were going over what they're seeing in our local area of the state here, what they're confiscating, what the problems are. And they had arrayed in front of us about 10 of the various drugs that are prevalent today that they're seizing, taking off the streets. And, they were arrayed from marijuana at one end of the spectrum to fentanyl and other more exotics at the other end of the spectrum. I asked them that question, and they said, about marijuana, and they said, you can look at these other 9 drugs, every one of them. The people who we catch who are distributing those, using those, they started with marijuana. It is the gateway. Don't believe anything to the contrary you hear. And so I stand by my position there. Even when 80% of Tennesseans would want medical marijuana in some sort of way? Well, I know that there's polling data that would point to that, but I think this is where leadership comes into play. I've dug into this question, and I believe that this would be the wrong choice for Tennesseans. Let's talk about flock cameras, flock safety, other ALPR systems spreading fast across Tennessee. They're popping up everywhere, no votes. Hundreds of cameras, logging license plates, vehicle fingerprints, times, locations. They're going into searchable databases. This is causing a bit of stir, not just online, but in local communities, because we saw what the Biden administration did, where they were labeling parents domestic terrorists for showing up at school board meetings. Are you worried that we're building out the infrastructure for what could be another radical leftist regime to take advantage of? Well, certainly you'd have to be worried about the misuse of the data that is gathered by LPRs. And obviously flock cameras is just a brand of that in that broader area of cameras and technology. And so, the law is pretty well established here that what you do in public is not private and is not subject to the protections of the Fourth Amendment. I'm a big believer in protecting the privacy of Americans. I think that this, though, raises another question you've alluded to, and that is how is that information going to be used? And how might it be misused? And we've certainly seen examples of that. So I think we have to have robust procedures and policies in place to make sure that law enforcement agencies and others in the government who might get access to the data coming from these cameras, making sure that they understand what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. And there needs to be records to track that. I serve on the Financial Services Committee in Congress, and we see today that so much of our financial information can be accessed by the federal government. I'm deeply concerned about that and have proposed that those accesses that we give to the federal government to look at our financial data should be subject to Fourth Amendment protections. I recently stood up against the renewal of Section 702 of FISA because I believe that the federal government ought to get a warrant when they want to surveil us. And so I think there are legitimate concerns, and I would pledge to you as governor, we'll work to implement policies and procedures that make sure that law enforcement officials across the state of Tennessee, subject to the jurisdiction of the state of Tennessee, that we have clear rules and expectations so that they can't use this to, track their enemies or spy on somebody, but that it's only being used for legitimate law enforcement purposes. So you would leave the cameras up? Yeah, I think they serve a useful purpose. I think with the right set of policies and procedures, I think this is just another tool in the arsenal of how we enforce laws in Tennessee. And so I think that we need clear guidelines and we need tough sanctions for those who abuse any of that. And, we have to protect citizens from having these tools used or weaponized against them.
Are there any fears, though, about what that looks like down the road if we leave these cameras up for you personally? I mean, when you look at every Tennessean being tracked going to church, the doctor, a gun store, a political event, the way I look at these cameras, they're only going to be used against one side. And we saw a lot of this during COVID. The Black Lives Matter rioters could go out and burn down buildings, but if you were protesting a government shutdown, you were labeled a domestic terrorist. Is there fear there that this is going to the federal government and that this will be weaponized at some point?
Well, I understand the fear. Yes, I understand that. And I think that's why we ought to demand robust restrictions and guidelines for when this stuff can be used, how it can be used, and restrict it. But I think we would be kidding ourselves if we didn't realize the advantages this gives us for tracking down the bad guys. And so we just need to make sure, like every other investigative technique that law enforcement is armed with, that we are using this appropriately, just like body cameras. You could make the argument that, some of the information that a body camera catches might be things we'd rather be left private. But we've made the decision that we're going to trade that against a robust set of procedures that are going to safeguard the privacy of Americans and Tennesseans. And so I think we can do that. There are no guarantees. We know that the framers said the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. So we have to be constantly vigilant on these things. And I think that's why you want to elect conservatives. And so as a conservative outsider CEO, I know how to do these. And obviously I've cut my teeth in the technology industry. So I think it would be a mistake to stick our head in the sands and pretend this technology didn't exist, and that it can be used like all tools. It can be used for good or it can be used for ill. We need to make sure that we use it for the good that we can achieve with it, for the law enforcement advantages that it brings us, and protect ourselves from the ill with procedures and robust punishments for those people who might seek to use this stuff for the wrong reason.
We're talking with Congressman John Rose. He wants to be your next governor of Tennessee. A lot of stories, a lot of hit pieces out on you recently. The Tennessee Star in particular, highlighting some campaign financing records showing that you donated at least $19,000 to Democrats between 1998 and 2010. Several of those recipients supported or sponsored the 2002 push for state income tax, the same fight that people are saying Marsha Blackburn was one of the leading voices against. You also voted in 3 Democratic primaries, 02, 04 in the 6th Congressional District. Can you walk me through those donations and those primary votes?
Well, I would start by saying that this amount supposedly they gave to Democrats is maybe about 10% of what the Tennessee Star has taken from my opponent over the last several months. So you might start with questioning that. But here's the reality. I've given far more to Republicans. In fact, 99% of my contributions have gone to Republicans historically, and I've given more to my main opponent in this race than I've given to any single Democrat. There was a time 25 years ago, some folks listening may not remember that time, when in places like DeKalb County, where I lived at that time, there were no Republicans. Everyone in elective office at that point, save one, we did have a road supervisor in DeKalb County who was a Republican, but everyone else was a Democrat. And so, I was at that time advocating for things like agricultural education and the FFA. And so, yes, I did give some money to help support those causes, to help support members of the legislature who were helping to fight for vocational education, agricultural education, and the FFA. But far more of my contributions went to support Republicans. And, I would dare say I was one of those supporters of Republicans that helped to build Republican majorities, conservative Republican majorities here in Tennessee, leading up to when we took over the legislature, when we elected Republican governors, and when we ultimately got a supermajority in Tennessee. And I'm very proud of the financial support that I gave to folks, even like my opponent, to help elect her to office. And I'd like to see her finish the job that I gave her money to get elected to.
We're talking with Congressman John Rose. After the donations to Democrats, 98 to 2010, and voting in Democrat primaries, you were appointed to the Agriculture Commissioner Board by Don Sundquist, or you were appointed Agriculture Commissioner, who broke his no income tax pledge. And then you served on a board under Democrat Phil Bredesen. So How do voters square that history with the conservative outsider brand that you're trying to bring to the table?
Sure. So I got appointed to be Commissioner of Agriculture about a month after the income tax war was won by a vote in the House of Representatives, where incidentally, at the time, my Democrat representative, Frank Buck, was one of the decisive no votes. It's one of those things that some people lose sight of. It was the House that voted down the NAFI income tax. The Senate actually never voted on the NAFI income tax, by the way. Should probably factor that in as you think about who maybe should claim credit for defeating the income tax in Tennessee. So here's the reality. I got appointed a month afterwards. It was very clear where I stood on the income tax. I never made any bones about that. I was a major contributor to Van Hillary, who later would become my chief of staff, who was, a sworn enemy of the income tax. And so my bona fides on the income tax are clear, notwithstanding the fact that I've served in the latter days of the Sunquist administration. So I stand with my record there. I was an avid opponent. Circled the Capitol many times, blowing horns. One of my employees at the time had a red pickup truck with a locomotive horn in the back of it and an air compressor hooked up. And when we'd blow that horn, the windows in the Capitol would literally shake. You can go back and listen to some of the talk radio at the time, and they would shudder when they heard that horn go off. So, I was proud to work to help defeat the income tax and have always been opposed to it. And so, I think my record is clear. And again, you can look at my more recent record as well. When I had a vote in Congress, I've 100% cast that vote in a conservative way.
In June of 2020, your company, Bosun Software, posted a solid black square with Blackout Tuesday during the height of the riots and the Black Lives Matter Summer of Love. And that was the height of the defund push. Attack ads are using it now. So did you know about that post ahead of time, and what was the thinking behind it while cities were burning?
Yeah, I have no idea. I didn't know about it. By that time, I was in Congress and not involved in the day-to-day activities of my business. When I learned about that post more recently, I immediately directed that it be taken down. I think it was a singular post about that, and that employee is no longer an employee, hasn't been for several years because of that sort of thing. And, you got young people in a technology industry and swept up in the moment, I guess, and made a post that, frankly, we didn't catch. And when we were aware of it, we had it taken down.
What do you think when all these stories are propping up now? Is that, do you feel like this is hurting you, or do you feel like this means you're over the target?
Means I'm over the target. There's no question about it. Our polling data supports that, and my opponent is throwing everything in the kitchen sink and making up lies as well on top of that. And that's disappointing, but that's Washington Beltway politics for you. I think when you've got an opponent who's spent most of their adult life in politics in one form or another and 20 plus years in Washington, they lose sight of what Tennesseans want to see from our political leaders. And so I think that's what you're seeing. We're over the target. They know that they're in a problem at this point. My opponent refuses to debate and refuses to do these kinds of interviews where you take unfiltered questions, and so I think they're resorting now to throwing mud.
Well, I give you all the credit in the world for taking unfiltered questions, and just let the record show that John Rose didn't ask for a script and didn't ask for any of these questions in advance. I will push back on the debate, though, because there was one candidate in the gubernatorial race who was still very much open to a debate, and that was Monty Fritz, and you said no to that debate.
So we said yes, as long as all three candidates in the Republican primary were a part of the debate, and we made that stipulation from the beginning that we'd be happy to do one, still would be happy to do one. We should do one tomorrow. We can all come. There's 3 seats here. We could come here and do it. You could ask the questions. I think that'd be pretty cool, and I think Tennesseans deserve exactly that. But I think Tennesseans deserve to hear from everyone, and we shouldn't give one candidate cover and let that candidate, in this case Senator Blackman, hide from the people of Tennessee. And so I think we need to. I did a forum in East Tennessee that she refused to come to, and I think we just need to demand that we bring all the candidates to the table. And if it's about Tennesseans who want to ask me unfiltered questions, we've done 70 town halls where anyone could come. We're going to do more this week and next week. And so if Tennesseans want to ask me a question, they're welcome to come out. We'll answer it.
Do you feel like it was a missed opportunity, though, where you could have had 45 minutes to go at Marsha Blackburn completely unabated with no pushback from the Marsha camp, that it was a missed opportunity by you and your campaign not agreeing to that debate for that opportunity in particular? Because I think a lot of Tennesseans would have tuned in to watch that debate on TV between you and Monty Fritz. Don't you think you could have won some people over?
Perhaps so, and our polling data tells us, incidentally, that I'm the second choice of the vast majority of Tennesseans who may have chosen for one reason or another to support one of the other candidates. But I think at the end of the day, if you're going to have a debate, you need to have all of the voices at the table, and Tennesseans. And so if we did that, then clearly we'd be letting her off the hook. And so I think the focus here should be on Senator Blackburn, who's the one who said she couldn't come. I'm saying it again right now. Ready to roll up my sleeves. We can have it right now, or we can have it as soon as she can get here to Tennessee. Unfortunately, or fortunately, you might say, she's in Washington, I suppose. I don't know. But
I think they're on summer vacation,
Senate's
right?
in session, and there's a call from Mike Lee that they stay in session until they get their work done. And and I know what they most need to get done, which is to pass the Save America Act. The House has passed it now 3 times straight up, and now a 4th time last week as a part of other legislation. And so we need the Senate, both, and I'm calling on Senator Haggerty and Senator Blackburn, quit hiding in Washington and saying you're for something when you aren't really driving to get your leader to bring it to a vote. And those 2 senators, our senators, they should be calling for a vote on the Save America Act. They should be calling on Leader Thune to throw this bogus filibuster out the door and give the people the vote. 83%, you know the stats as well as I do. 83% of Americans want us to pass the Save America Act. If Mike Johnson can get it done in the House with a 1 or 2 seat majority, then John Thune can get it done, and he needs to get it done, or our senators need to call on him to step aside and put someone in place that will drive to get the president's agenda across the finish line.
We're talking with Congressman John Rose. He wants to be your next governor of Tennessee. We'll continue this conversation on the other side. Real quick, I need to tell you about my friends at Cover Nash. If you're tired of health insurance that feels like a math test, confusing percentages, surprise bills, fine print that bites back, you can make it simple. Cover Nash has brand new nationwide PPO plans that give you the freedom to pick your own doctors anywhere in the U.S. No referrals, no red tape, just a $250 deductible, a flat $50 copay for any doctor, even specialists. Outpatient surgeries, $250 copay. Hospital stays, just $1,000 total. Free preventative care. Not that you're excited about a colonoscopy, but at least you're not paying for it. And here's the kicker: no surprise bills, no hidden fees, just real protection from real providers. And if that's not the perfect fit, Cover Nash works with over 75 top-rated insurance companies. They'll find something that works for your budget and your needs. Visit covernash.com or call 615-465-0023, 615-465-0023, covernash.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis from Super Talk 99.7 WTN and Nashville's Morning News. I'm here with Chris from USS, United Structural Systems. He's checking out my basement, my foundation, my crawl space to see if there's anything wrong. Fingers crossed. All right, so there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is we found some cracks in my basement wall. The good news, I've got Chris here who's going to walk me through the next steps.
Yes, so unfortunately, your house has been subject to the pressure of the dirt. The hydrostatic pressure, heavy dirt pushes on foundation walls, and you got a little bit of what we call bowing. So that wall is pushed in a little bit. We have a lifetime warranty solution for that. So we install, usually in a day or 2, this can be done in most situations. We install carbon fiber straps, which keep the wall from moving inward at any point in the future. It's a lifetime warranty for anybody that ever owns this house. So it's a quick and routine thing that we do, but it yields some long-lasting benefits.
It's a great selling point if you want to sell your house.
Absolutely. Good thing about our warranties is they're not only transferable, like the contract says, they're automatically transferred when you sell your house. So you'll have to sign any paperwork or even send us an email saying that you sold your house. Warranty would transfer to the next owner.
11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. We'll tell you about this level 1 out of 5 risk of severe weather we're facing tonight. Election 2026, Republican gubernatorial candidate John Rose in studio with WTN's Chris Hand gave his take on flock cameras.
I think it would be a mistake to stick our head in the sands and pretend this technology didn't exist, and that it can be used like all tools. It can be used for good or it can be used for ill. We need to make sure that we use it for the good that we can achieve with it, for the law enforcement advantages that it brings us, and protect ourselves from the ill with procedures and robust punishments for those people who might seek to use this stuff for the wrong reason.
There has not been a widely reported Tennessee-specific case showing flock data being improperly used against people, but the technology is facing growing scrutiny from both civil liberties advocates and some elected officials. A Massachusetts couple who endured a years-long stalking and harassment campaign linked to former eBay employees has reached a $55.7 million settlement with the company. Ina and David Steiner, publishers of the online newsletter E-Commerce Bites, were targeted with threatening messages, disturbing deliveries, surveillance after publishing coverage critical of eBay. Federal prosecutors later charged 7 former eBay executives and employees in the scheme, with several serving prison time. The Steiners will get nearly $49 million under the settlement, while eBay says it deeply regrets what happened. And a powerful earthquake has struck Japan.
Japan marked Coming of Age Day today, a public holiday celebrating young people reaching maturity. In the evening, a strong earthquake estimated at magnitude 6.9 shook the southwestern region. Small tsunami waves followed, but warnings have now been lifted. Authorities reported no disruption to nuclear reactor operations and advised residents to remain cautious as additional tremors may follow.
So at least 50 people have been hospitalized. Rescue crews are searching for survivors. Local police saying there may be numerous fatalities. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for Parker Safes and Vaults. If you need a safe, you need to talk to my friend Aaron Parker. These guys are the absolute best, and they sell real safes. Everybody has stuff in their home that they don't want to lose. Now, it might be a firearm collection. It might be some precious metals. It might be some jewelry, or it could be the stuff that you literally can't replace if you have a fire. The photo albums, the birth certificates, all the things. Now, imagine if you did lose it, and you could have made a call a lot sooner to Parker Safes and Vaults, and you're going to be kicking yourself. Don't be that guy. Make the call today, and you never have to worry about that scenario. Parker Safes and Vaults have been helping people protect what they treasure for close to 20 years. You make one call to the experts at Parker's, and they'll help you choose the right safe for your needs and your budget. They'll professionally deliver it and install it themselves. This is a veteran-owned, family-run Christian business helping people just like you with your security and protection needs since they started in 2009. They only sell serious products, not safes that can be tipped over and pried open by a teenager. That's a filing cabinet. They sell real safes from Liberty, American Security, Rhino, Graph Under, and more. They specialize in the right safe for the right customer. Hundreds of 5-star reviews. Make the phone call today. 931-842-6445. 931-842-6445, or find them online, parkersafes.com. 39 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. In studio with Congressman John Rose. Thank you for taking the time to sit down with us. We appreciate you. And I appreciate you answering the no softball questions. Two of the three candidates in this race are welcome, are open, should I say, open to answering all the questions that are afforded them. All three candidates are welcome here. Where do you stand in the race today? It seems like a lot of your battle is focused on Marsha Blackburn, but I would argue, and we spoke about this a little bit off the air, that this audience is really behind Monty Fritz. How do you win over a Monty Fritz voter? Because I think that could be your deciding factor.
Yeah, so my first argument would be there that I'm a principled conservative.
Will you hit the red button? Sorry.
I think thanks for having me on the show, first of all. And I think my argument would be that, I'm a principled conservative, have the voting record to prove that, and, have talked about that on the campaign trail. And so I think that the Monty Fritz voter, that I'm a better choice for them than Senator Blackburn. And then the next argument, it may not sit well, but it is just the reality, is a vote for Monty Fritz is a vote for Senator Blackburn, because frankly, Representative Fritz is not going to be able to win. And our polling data makes that absolutely abundantly clear. My hat goes off to Representative Fritz for the campaign that he's run. He's gotten a long way with little or no resources. But at the end of the day, to take on someone like Senator Blackburn, you got to have the resources to go toe-to-toe. And we're not going to match her, but we have gotten our message out. Our name identification now above 90%. Our polling showing us that we're at a statistical tie. And so I think we're on a path to win regardless. But if the Monty Fritz voters came our way, we would win decisively. If they don't, there is a question there. And so you sure would hate to wake up on a Friday morning, the 7th, and realize that your vote for Representative Fritz ended up electing Senator Blackburn as the next governor of Tennessee.
We were talking a little bit off the air and right as we were coming out of that last break about the Save America Act. And I think that one of the things that you can absolutely ding the Senate Republicans on is their willingness to sit on their hands. And I think it's very infuriating to the American people. I think you said it best, 80% of Americans want this. Why isn't it getting done? And if Blackburn is so sure that she's going to win the governor's race, why isn't she going scorched earth and burning the boats on the way out of Washington?
It's a fair question, and I think it's because it's that Washington Beltway world that she's dependent on. That's who's funding her campaign for governor. That's who she's going to answer to if she's the governor of Tennessee. And so she's not willing to burn those bridges because that's who's financed her campaign. And it's shameful. And I would call on both of our senators. They need to call on John Thune today to end the filibuster, bring this forward for a vote, find the votes. And, there are 5 words I would say that would be my answer if Leader Thune's not willing to do the job. And that's Majority Leader Rick Scott, or Senate Majority Leader Rick Scott, to get to 5 words. And so, I think that if their leader's not willing to do the job, they need to call on someone else to step forward, and they need to quit hiding behind, we're for it. We're all 100% for it, but we're not going to do anything to actually get it done. And so it is time, as you say, scorched earth. I think this is the time for that. If Republicans want to keep majorities in the House and Senate, then we've got to deliver for the American people. And if over 90% of Republicans want this, what is the answer for why you didn't stand up when the time called for it? The House has done its work over and over again. The Senate has just refused to do this work, and they've continued to hide behind this false narrative of the filibuster as being an impediment when they could end the filibuster just like that if they had the will to do it. And I'm of the opinion, by the way, you know this answer. When have Republicans had a filibuster-proof majority in the Senate? Never. And so we're going to use that excuse over and over, decade after decade, of why we don't get done what the American people want us to do.
And the Democrats tell you every time exactly what they'll do the moment they regain power, and that's nuke the filibuster. And we don't have a guy like Joe Manchin in there anymore that's going to hold them back and keep that pipe from bursting.
That's right. And so the best way for Republicans to defend that is not to cling to some antiquated notion that filibuster is going to be our guardian angel, but rather to deliver for the American people. If you break down the state by state, Republicans have an advantage in holding the Senate. The best way to hold the Senate is to deliver for the American people what we've promised to deliver to them.
And 80% of the American people want the Save America Act passed.
That's right.
Super Texter pointed this out, though. 80% of Tennesseans want medical marijuana. How do you square that? If 80% of Tennesseans want medical marijuana for veterans, cancer patients, epileptics, 80% of Americans want the Save America Act passed, where's the disconnect there?
Yeah, well, so I think it's the answer is in the considered evidence of where legalized marijuana takes us. I think that's become a popularized notion. And I would tell you on the filibuster, I used to be against ending the filibuster, but then when I really started to dig into the facts, as I've just said, on the filibuster, the reality is the best way to keep control of the Senate and keep Democrats from doing bad things is to control the Senate. If you control the Senate, which means you got to have 51 votes, then you don't have to worry about the filibuster, right? And so the best way to control the Senate is for us to elect in conservative states. So we ought to, at any given time, we ought to have 54 to 56 Republican senators across the country. And the only reason we don't is because we always are failing to deliver on what we've promised. With respect to marijuana, I think the science, law enforcement, all of the folks who are on the front lines, medical professionals, they tell us that marijuana is the gateway drug. And frankly, we've got too many Americans suffering from drug abuse and drug addiction across this country, and we don't need to do anything that exacerbates that.
We're talking with Congressman John Rose. Switching topics here. You've been talking about data centers. It's been a big topic of conversation in Tennessee. Growing fight in several counties. You support them as a competitive tool against China, but you've said local communities should control placement. So where's the line for you? Would you support state-level incentives or preemption if a county resists, or would you protect local zoning authorities even if it slows AI infrastructure?
I think we protect local zoning authorities. As a Republican, I believe strongly in that government closest to the people governs best, generally speaking. Obviously, the state is the sovereign, not the counties and cities. But I think counties and cities are in a better position to decide what makes sense for their local communities. And I think we'll see local communities sort this out. I do favor and would, if I'm elected governor, work with the local communities to develop a framework for assessing what makes sense for them. So, the state has resources and can bring to bear, assessment tools to help local communities know how best to proceed. You don't want to see local communities get caught flat-footed like Metro Nashville did with the data center that's been much in the news here. So you want local communities to be, leaning forward on this, figuring out what makes sense for them. The state can help do that, but I don't think we should substitute the state's opinion for what local communities want. And we've seen that in all other manner of economic development, and I think it works pretty well.
I think we both agree that you have to win the AI war against China because it is the new arms race, but there's a balance there.
Absolutely. That doesn't mean you just, plow under the whole country. And there are ways to do this responsibly. We do have to, there is another race that's tightly associated with the AI race, and that's energy. We've got to build out generation capacity in this country to power those data centers as well, and to power all the other. We're at the cusp of what I believe in a few years we'll realize is an industrial renaissance in this country, where you're going to see a lot of production coming back to the United States, and I think that's great for this country. But we got to have the power to make sure that we can energize that.
Where do you land on nuclear energy?
Oh, absolutely a supporter. I think that is the path forward. And so, it'll come in a little bit different form. A lot of it is likely to be small modular reactors. Generation 3 nuclear technology, that's your grandpa's nuclear energy. It's the nuclear Navy, nuclear energy. We've proven we can do it safely. We're going to make it smaller so that more of the components can be produced in factories in a systematized way to make it more affordable. No more of these like monolithic power plants that are one-off creations and cost billions and billions, tens of billions in some cases. So we're going to figure out how to kind of make that more modular so that the components can be factory built and then brought and assembled on site. And we're going to build hundreds of them across the country.
How quick could that happen?
It could happen.
Is that a 2-year, 5-year, 10-year plan?
Yeah, I think it could happen very quick. We have to remember we harnessed the atom in 3 years. So this country has proven that we can move quick when we have to. We've just got to clear away the cobwebs here and the hurdles. And the Trump administration, I think, is committed to that. We lost a lot of muscle memory when it comes to building nuclear power plants because we kind of just abandoned it for 2 or 3 decades. And so we've got to rebuild that capacity. That's going to take a little bit of time. But, the good news is the Clinch River site over near Oak Ridge has been permitted already by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. And just here a few weeks ago, they said that they're prepared to issue the first in the nation construction permit to TVA to build the Clinch River small modular reactor. And so we got to build one first and then build 2 and then build 10 and 20. And we'll get really good at it and ultimately bring the cost down. It's not fair to ask the ratepayers of the Tennessee Valley to do that. And so, President Trump has used his lever with trade negotiations, and we've got some foreign investors that are going to help us finance those first small modular reactors, which is a good thing. But ultimately, we're going to have to generate a lot more power in this country, and there's no question in my mind that third-generation nuclear fission is the short-term answer. Longer term, there's lots of exciting new technology. And Tennessee is, by the way, in the leadership position over around Oak Ridge and elsewhere across the state in that next-generation nuclear, what people call fourth-generation nuclear, will be a place where Tennessee can lead as well. And then ultimately, the real long-term goal is fusion, and we're making progress in that direction.
We're talking with Congressman John Rose. He wants to be the next governor of Tennessee. Different topic, same thread. It's China. Blackburn's ads have claimed that you have been soft on Chinese land purchases. You've pushed back pretty hard, saying that there's no evidence of this. There's laws on the books that ban this in Tennessee. But you have been accused of being insufficiently concerned about Chinese purchases of American farmland. So where are you at today? And is the China farmland stuff overblown? What's a bigger threat to Tennessee? Is it the illegal alien invasion that we have to deal with, or is it the Chinese?
I think the Chinese is clearly a second-tier issue, but important. We have to keep in mind that Xi Jinping, the president of China, has sworn that his goal is to take down our country. And so I think it's through that prism that you have to view the threat. And so, the Blackburn camp has attacked me on this. I have consistently been for having strong laws in place to protect us from China. And in an interview 4 years ago, I was talking with a radio program that I do monthly about China and the threat from China. And I was saying how I was very concerned about the sale of U.S. companies and the transfer of jobs and technology offshore, the forced technology transfer. We were having that conversation in the wake of COVID, and we had a wake-up call as a country, frankly, about how dependent we had become on China. And so that was the context of the discussion. The interviewer said, well, what do you think about farmland? And I said, the full quote, you've only seen part of it, was, I'm concerned about that. But I'm not gravely concerned about that because, and I went on to say, because that farmland is still right here in the good old U.S. of A. When China buys farmland, they haven't bought any in Tennessee, as best we know. They don't transfer the farmland to China. It's still here. And so when and if we decide we don't like that, and I have been an advocate that we should not allow that, they don't allow us to buy land in China, for goodness sakes. And we've seen evidence that they might be up to no good with respect to the land that they've bought elsewhere in the country, where they have bought land adjacent to sensitive installations, military bases, and the like. And we see out in the Midwest, they've used a lot of the farmland that they've bought to house illegal grow operations and other illicit activities. So I was advocating that we should be concerned about that. Even went on to say I think we should make that we should probably make that illegal. The Tennessee General Assembly did that. Property law is the province of the states, by the way. I don't think my opponent fully understands that, but as a lawyer, I know property law historically the province of the sovereign states, not the federal government. And so it was appropriate for our Tennessee General Assembly to outlaw that, and the governor signed that bill into law, and they've done that, and I think that was the right answer.
How do we demagnetize the state from illegal aliens?
Yeah, so I think the answer there is obviously the governor has a role there. Obviously the courts have told us over and over again sadly, that this is the unique province of the federal government. But there are some things that state government can do. And so what I would pledge to do as the next governor is to make sure that all of our state law enforcement authorities are fully directed to cooperate with ICE and federal authorities, and make sure that all of our county and cities across this state are cooperating as well. There should be no comfort given to any kind of sanctuary policies anywhere in the state, including in our capital city. We need to be fully cooperating. And I, again, would applaud our Tennessee General Assembly, because I think they stepped forward in a magnificent way under the leadership of Speaker Cameron Sexton to pass a whole raft of bills this session that take full advantage of what the state can do to discourage illegal immigrants from coming to our state. And I think we should be, fully vested in trying to do everything we can to support President Trump's effort to keep illegal immigration under control.
Congressman John Rose wants to be the next governor of Tennessee. I appreciate you joining me in studio. We got about 30 seconds left. What's your elevator pitch to the Fritz voter, to the Blackburn voter, to the undecided voter?
Well, so the job of being governor of Tennessee is the job of being CEO of this state. Tennessee's not a business, but it's a lot like a business, 40,000 employees. We need someone who can go to work on day one, who's ready to roll up their sleeves and go to work. And I have that experience of building businesses. I've taken ideas and turned them into reality. That's the job of being governor. I'm ready to go to work. My opponents, frankly, would have to have some on-the-job training. And so I think that's an expense that Tennessee shouldn't have to bear. I think Tennesseans get that generally. If you look at the governors we've elected, whether Democrat or Republican, we've generally chosen governors, the ones that have been successful, have served the state well. They brought that private business sector experience to the table. And so I'm ready to go to work, and hope that your listeners will give me a chance. Then go to johnrose.com. And I would just say, I have a chance of beating Senator Blackburn. I believe we'll beat her. And for the Fritz voters out there, Monty Fritz is a good guy, but he can't win. And so, you may not believe that, but I sure would hate for you to wake up on Thursday after Election Day or Friday after Election Day and realize that you elected the wrong person as governor because you cast a vote for someone who couldn't get to where they needed to win.
Early voting going on now through August 1st. Primary day is August 6th. Congressman John Rose, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much. It's 11:56, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
So this dude's dog wanders into the shot. And who is this guy?
So this is Hassan Piker. He's a left-wing streamer. He's very radical, Muslim, friends with Mamdani, big Mamdani supporter. And, this is just an insight to the kind of people they truly are at home. And he's on his live stream.
Yeah.
And as you said, his dog gets in the shot, won't sit down, which I understand. But at the same time, this dog is not getting in his way or anything. He is simply just circling, or as my wife would call it, nesting, trying to find that comfy spot.
Yeah.
So he shocks him.
Much more consequential violence, okay? It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop.
Kind of ironic this guy is talking about violence.
Yeah, right?
While he shocks his dog. His dog's literally not even doing anything. He's just, as you said, he's circling in the background.
Yeah.